you're across it. I don't think you can concentrate on talking and working at the same time. I'm not sure you can.
Walking
Yeah,
and eating.
for you, it seems it's a bit
no,
like.
don't say that. Look, he's gutted. No, there's a lot of gone wrong here. I say throw this desk out and get a real one. Seriously.
Well, I think there's a Fisher Price one you can buy in Argos that might be.
Yeah,
worth
but
getting.
yeah, we got there. We were stung because it was second hand. This one, but this is like the Mir space station. I mean, it really is falling apart. Get a new one in. Let's not, you know. Oh. I can't believe it. Get the. I mean, look at that. Look at the library. Look at the gaps in the library.
Let's not go on about this because this isn't good.
What? Whereas that quiz was. Whereas that was good radio.
You can join in and stuff.
But the problem is,
okay.
Carl, why do you rush to do it? I told you before we should practice these things. That's
Although
how
to be
it's
fair,
done.
Steve, I haven't got time to do anything. So at least Carl's coming up with stuff.
But I don't mind, you know, running
What other
through with
ideas
it
have you
while
got?
you're having a kip outside.
Really,
doing
what
the
other ideas
records.
have you got? Have you got any other ideas, Carl? Because we've got another hour. But have you got anything at all?
I've got that feature Educating Ricky, which is a bit of a play on words as well. Right? Do you know the film, Steve?
Educating Rita.
Yeah.
I see what you've done. I see what you've done. Go
I'm
on.
doing that, and I teach Ricky stuff.
What do you teach me, Carl?
Well, I've got a few different topics.
Go on.
Do you know, like how you taught me about Hitler and Che Guevara and Winston Churchill? Mm-hmm. I'm going to come in with topics every week, and this week I've got,
Ghosts?
No, hanging bacon is one of the topics.
Say that again.
Hanging bacon.
Hanging bacon.
All the titles.
Francis Bacon.
No, all the titles are sort of named to sort of tease you and get you more interested in it.
Hanging bacon. Well, you've certainly intrigued
Go
me.
on. What's another title one?
Hairy Chinese kid.
I'm gonna go for that one.
If there was a university degree with that title.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go for hairy Chinese kid.
And
I
the
think.
final one.
Yeah.
Alien gives man a beard.
Right.
Alien gives man a beard.
I am gonna burst. Right, listen, Carl, you've got to tell me. Right, first, right, let's do it in reverse
No,
order.
we're not going to do it now anyway.
What do you mean? We've got to do it now. I mean, this is the first interesting thing you've said in an hour. Okay, the listeners have just been subjected to rubbish and mistakes and everything for the last 6 months. Please, we've got to do Alien gives man a beard. What is that? Tell us that.
Right.
Sorry, this is just you telling me something, is it? This feature is you telling me something.
Well, teaching you something. Educating Ricky. Huh?
So are we playing it now? We're already into this feature. Well into this feature, are we?
Yeah, I suppose we are, yeah.
Should there not be a jingle or something?
Yeah, can we have a
Well, there's
jingle?
no point, because look, I come up with ideas and you dismiss them straight away, so I'm not wasting my time making stuff.
Right.
If you don't like
well, okay,
it.
let's play Educating Ricky.
Right.
Brilliant. Go. Right.
Right, so-
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Educating Ricky.
Right, what we going for then? Hanging the bacon, hairy Chinese kid, alien gives man a beard.
I think Alien gives man a beard.
I'd like to do that.
Right, there's this fella, I think it happened in America, and he saw a bright light in the sky. And,
Carl, if you're bored.
and he stood there.
This is a true story, is it?
Yeah. He stood there,
Yes, of course it isn't, Steve.
and he saw this bright light, and it came closer and closer, and it was a UFO, right?
Yep.
And he looked at it, and it disappeared, right? And he gets back in his car,
He looks in the mirror.
and he looks in the mirror.
Yep.
He's only got a beard.
He hasn't.
You sure it wasn't someone else who got in the car? And he was still standing out there?
No, right?
What?
And it turned out,
Yeah.
he got home and said to his wife or his girlfriend, it's a bit weird. So I just got out of the car to look at a bright light, and I got back in the car and I grew a beard, and she said, never mind your beard, where have you been for 3 days? And what had happened is,
He passed out because he was pissed.
no, the UFO had taken him for 3 days,
Yeah.
but he'd only thought that he'd only looked at it and it went away.
Yeah.
But what had happened is, he took him, and he grew a beard because he hasn't had a shave.
Right, okay. I mean, was Will Smith or Tommy Lee Jones anything to do with this at all? Did you see this on a video, maybe, and thought it was an educational film?
No, it's from a book that some kind person sent in to me. Here.
Can I just ask again, just again, I'm just throwing this right back at you. Do you think there's any other possible answer here? Right, a man is absent for 3 days from home.
He's
the
grown a
length
beard.
of time that it could take to grow a beard, lest we forget. What if he hadn't actually seen a bright light in the sky?
What if he was
he'd been
lying? What if
drunk?
he was lying?
He'd got knocked unconscious. He'd had a car crash.
Just
any
lying.
number of
No,
other things.
just lying.
Or he was just lying.
Yeah, he'd been on a bender, getting pissed for 3
Yeah,
days
and
with
that
his
was his
mates.
excuse to his wife.
And they went, Dennis, what are you gonna tell your wife?
Well, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
She's not going to believe I was out with you, lads.
Just say you're only away for a minute. No, she didn't know I wasn't away from it because of the beard. Oh yeah, it looks like you've been out for 3 days. Well, we have. That's
Exactly.
right. Okay, we've got to cover that then. Alien abduction.
Great one.
Okay, let's try that.
Do you see? That's a little scenario there that could have been played out.
So, when you say educating Ricky, what have I learnt from this? Never listen to you again. That's all I've learnt so far. Never listen to you.
Yeah, we'll add a little bit more in here, right? To
Well,
spice this
no,
up.
what do you mean add a little bit more?
We'll add a bit more to this what I'm educating you about,
Go on.
right? There's only a law in America that says if you touch a UFO, you're going to get done. Now, why would they make a rule? I don't know that. Do you know, like, all their rules have a caveat?
Carl, I genuinely do not know what you're talking about.
Right. Do you know, like, how here they might have...
Do you know
I
what?
have no idea.
Right,
Okay.
Do you know, like, over
Rick,
here...
I'm listening to Capital on these headphones. I got Foxy on from yesterday.
Right, let's bin that.
No, wait, it's great. No,
I want to hear about hairy Chinese kid.
let's play a tune. And
Okay,
let's come
play a
back
tune,
with
come back with Chinese
Play
kid,
that-
definitely.
Some doors.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just thought I'd go back, take it back to the 60s. This is a tune that a friend of mine sent
If
me.
you touch a UFO, you get done.
Soul Kitchen from The Doors.
Shambles today, this.
David Bowie, Slow Burn, yeah. Quite a Eno trilogy
Yeah,
feel
not bad
about
at
it.
all,
Larger
yeah. Is
and
it a
sort of
neutral?
low type, yeah. But, yeah.
Enjoyable.
Now, okay. That's stressful, isn't it? I think we've got things working now. We've had people coming in and out, just shaking their head going, shouldn't have bought that desk. But it's all sorted now, I think. And,
You notice how
I'm
it took
sorry.
about
What?
25 minutes for them to come down as well, though? Do you feel like we're maybe quite low in the pecking order in the building?
Definitely.
You know, it's like Capital First, Capital Gold. They can shoot off to other sort of pirate stations.
Yeah.
People's car radios, then they come back here.
Oh dear. Oh, I had a job at Richard Sounds.
Yeah.
Light fitting was buzzing. Now, but we've got. Thanks for staying, listening. Right, okay. Educating Ricky. What have we got? Airy Chinese kid. Go on.
Right, yeah. This is the... I didn't want to do this.
What do you mean you want to do it?
Well, I wanted to give you three, and I gave you one. It was like the alien man gets a beard or whatever.
Yeah.
And-
Which was total rubbish. So this one should be better, maybe.
Hairy Chinese kid. Right, well, we've talked about hairy people in the past,
True enough.
haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, the little kids who grew up in woods and hung around with wolves and that.
Yeah. Again, you're confusing it. Yeah, they're not. There were some people that were born. Very hirsute. They were not the people who were brought up with wolves. You just put that together in your Homer Simpson type mind.
Right, well, this is like a sort of close to that sort of story.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, right, Chinese people aren't that hairy as a nation. No, seriously, that's a well-known fact. They don't have that much body hair and stuff.
Okay.
So this little kid who was born over there, he was like covered in stuff,
Was he?
and it was only his nose that wasn't hairy. The rest of his body was caked in hair, right? And his hair sort of
What
grew.
sort of hair was it? Was
Thick hair.
No, what I mean is, was it sort of like a pony's mane? So he just looked like an Ewok. You know what I mean? Just like hanging down, sort of straight,
Well,
dark
it
hair.
looked, in the picture, it looked like it grows
was it
from
downy?
his eyebrow. It grows from his eyebrows quite thick, and then it just goes all the way over.
You
his
don't think
head.
it was just really long eyebrows that he'd done a comb over?
No, it was all over his body. It had a picture of like his back and that.
Yeah.
And
Had he styled it? Had he styled it at all? Did he have it in a quiff or?
no, it was just
hanging everywhere.
all over him.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know, this is a bit weird, happening in China, where we're not normally that hairy.
That was the scientist speaking there.
Yeah.
And the local press and that were getting him down, calling him Monkey Boy and all this.
Oh,
And
thinking Chinese press.
but the doctor,
Yeah. Oh.
They're cruel, aren't they? It's like
doctor-
those game shows. That's Japanese, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
and the doctor said,
I was Carl talking through all that time while we were just like talking to each other then. Because I turned round and I still saw he was talking. Go
So
on.
anyway, the local press came down to see the hairy boy, the monkey
yeah, and
boy.
they were like being tight, taking the mickey out of him, and the doctor said
Showing him nuts.
he's only hairy. Said he's a healthy young kid. the only faults he's got is he's got a little bit of eczema and a boil. And he said everybody should just treat him the same, and I think he grew up a healthy kid. Yeah, so that's the
That's the end of the story.
That's not a story.
why?
But I've got nothing. I don't know what to say to that. So someone in China was born slightly hairier than the rest, and he was normal apart from eczema and a boil. That to me isn't a story. But if it is, I've got a million. I mean, it's sort of like bloke from Manchester went a bit bolder than the rest, got a job on radio. He was normal. I mean, that's not a story, is it? Do you know what I mean?
All right then.
Hang on.
Hold on, he's got the big guns. You're not going to give us hanging bacon, are you?
Yeah.
Come on then, come on then,
Right.
come
This is what
on,
we've been looking
come
forward
on.
to. This is it.
No, this is a good one.
This is the one.
And this is a story, right? Do you know the saying, chewing the fat?
Good one, it's one of my favourites.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
Talking.
Right. Well, do you know where it came from?
No.
Right, what they used to do years ago, when people didn't have much money.
Is this the same as throwing the baby out of the bathwater?
No, it's not the it's not the same saying, but it's...
No, but I mean, is it as wrong as that was?
Well, let me tell you, and we'll
Go
see.
on. Okay.
Like, people go out to work, and with the money, they'd buy food.
Oh yeah, go on. This is a good system. What? Go on. What do you mean? People go out to work and with the system.
And if you were quite well off, you might treat your family to some bacon, right? But do you know, like in these days, if people earn a lot of money, they might buy a nice suit or a car.
Yeah. So what are you saying? You're saying wait, let me get this straight. You're saying that you go out to work and get money to buy things to live, and if you get sort of enough money to live and you've got some left over, you might treat yourself on like a suit or a car or something. Is that what you're...
Yeah.
Oh,
but
go
back then, if
Yeah.
you earned money, they'd say,
This is olden times.
yeah,
Okay.
let's get some bacon in, right? And what they'd do, they'd hang it in the kitchen
What, to show it off?
to show it off to all the neighbours and friends. Because if you had hanging bacon, it was like, he's doing all right for himself.
Yeah.
Some lovely bacon.
So they had loads of bacon hanging up, and people would come round, right? And whilst they stood in the kitchen talking about whatever they're talking about,
in olden times.
they'd say, do you got a bit of rind? And they'd rip a little bit of rind off, and whilst they're having a chit-chat,
Chewing the
they'd
fat.
chew on the rind.
Well, I think that's probably true.
And
I
it's
haven't
like-
heard that, but that one to me sounds true. Do you see the difference between that one and a man was abducted and grew a beard? Can you see the difference in
Yeah, but
why
they're
I accept that
different-
story?
Different stories for different things.
Different stories for different things. So, see, that's a nice story. If it's true, I don't know if it's true. I mean, but it seems totally possible, viable, quite interesting. I won't be quoting that myself until I've verified it. But that's, you know, I won't be telling anyone the bloke got in the car and he had a full-face beard. Why has his car been towed away?
Because it was a quiet road.
Was it?
Wasn't in the way. So,
Are you filling in the blanks again? That wasn't in the book, was it, that you read? See, that's the thing. Sometimes I think you make up bits of the story as though they were fact. That doesn't seem right.
well, that's all you can do, innit? So that's educating Ricky. Will we
Brilliant.
do that next week?
That is brilliant.
No, I think that
Carl.
was good. I did. I mean, I enjoyed that. I learned something from that.
I mean, well, I want to get I mean, this is all from one book, is it?
Yeah.
That's an interesting book.
With the, I don't want to dwell on it, but with the hairy Chinese kid, what did they say about that? What was the, I mean, was it once there was born a kid who was slightly more hairy than everyone else, but it's all right, he only had a boil. Oh, how did they word it? How did this capture your imagination?
There was a
Well,
picture.
it was a picture that grabbed me first of all,
Sure.
and it was like, God, what's up with him? And that's when I read it.
Did you see the boil and the eczema or just the hair?
No, you see, because his face is like, just under his eyes is sort of nice and smooth, and his nose is sticking out, and that's not hairy. But the rest of him, it looked like he had the sort of a balaclava on or something. And then I read on, and it's like, this is a hairy kid in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Good. Anything else in there? Because I mean, I like
no,
that.
we'll do more of that next week.
How is that alongside hanging bacon, alien abduction, a hairy Chinese kid, and a little interesting fact about the derivation of a phrase?
What do you mean?
He didn't understand a word of that. I knew the word derivation was going to cause problems. I thought derivation shouldn't have come out.
No, I'm not. I wasn't disputing. He's all smug because he's had a phone call. That was, Beck, lost cause. Go on, tell him why you're all smug.
Because Adrian just called up.
Yeah.
After hearing the story about the Chinese kid.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, that's true. He said that there was a TV programme on it.
Yeah.
He had a chromosome defect.
Yeah.
And it made him hairy. And his mum and dad...
De La Soul. Old school.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
Jam named Saturday.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Good stuff. Carl, so, educating Ricky. You were going to tease us now with some of the big headlines you've got there.
Look at him dancing.
Improving. He really is in the
He
groove there.
really is dancing there.
Right.
Right.
So,
Okay.
the way this works is,
What would you rather be, Carl?
I teach you
Superheroes.
3 things.
A frog boy, yeah, that you could leap onto a house, but you had to go first and leap onto a house. You're this frog boy, right? And that could be useful, couldn't it?
That's very useful, yeah.
Right, amploid, where you've got your hands and microphones, and you can talk into your hand and your whole body. It's like 100 decibels. You can go, "Oi, come here," and people can hear you from miles away. Amploid, right, right. Or sado, right? And that means that you can go up to anyone and go, all right, and they don't know why, they just get fed up for the whole day.
Which of those would you prefer? Don't answer now, have a think about it. Have a think about it.
The frog thing, do I look like one, or...
No, you're just you and your little Ben Sherman shirt and everything, and they go, and people walk along and they go, oh, look at that young child on that roof. He's gonna fall. I wish Frog Boy was here. And you go, and you go down, you go, and they go, here's him. And they don't recognise you when you're squatting. They go, I don't know who you are. And you leap up there and save, and you come back and they go, where's Frog Boy? And you're standing up and you go, don't know, he went that way.
Yeah, I'd probably have that one.
Would
Probably
you?
go with Frog Boy?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Okay, go on.
Right, so, did that just go out?
What?
All that.
Go on, I've got a bad...
Hey, look, Rick, Carl's really planned this show. He's really worked out. He came in early, he was writing things down.
And there's me
planning
just
it,
coming up with rubbish
and
like
you're
that.
just talking rubbish. So, Carl, I know you've been
Right.
thinking this through. What have you got?
So, Educating Ricky, we did it last week. It's where I teach you some stuff, but rather than just teach you something, I tease you, so you want to know more, so you want to take in information, right? So,
If only people had taught you like that, Carl.
so
And also, it's the name of a film, sort of.
Yeah.
Nearly.
Coming up soon, Henry VIII and his, well, how many wives? Come back tomorrow, Carl, to find out.
right. Well, the little headlines I've got to sort of tease you with the story.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt me and I'm not very well. Go on.
Right, we've got
So this is what, sorry, I've just got lost for a minute there.
It's Educating Ricky.
This is Educating Ricky,
Yeah.
and these are the stories that these are the things you're going to tell him.
yeah.
But these are just headline versions.
These are headlines
This is not
because
the actual fact.
then I think people will remember things.
Okay, alright, so you,
do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
sort of bullet points.
Who can forget hairy Chinese boy?
Indeed, I shall never forget that.
Yeah.
So, first headline,
Ooh.
don't do that to it, you know it can't live without an head.
I've got no idea. It could be about the French Revolution, it could be about anything.
I know what it is!
No, you think you do, but...
No, it's something I taught you! Is it the fact that cockroaches can live for 9 days without a head?
That's part of it, but it's something different as well, that's why I thought I'd bring it up.
Okay, brilliant. So that's something to...
Next one, you won't work it out. If only it was raining.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Go on.
And the last one, what's tomato with you?
What's tomato with you?
Yeah.
Look how pleased he is.
You're obsessed with puns, aren't you, at the moment, Kay?
It just works, I think it works.
Yeah. You love puns.
So, there you go.
So which of
Okay.
those are you going to choose, right?
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to choose. Don't do that, you know it can't live without a head.
Can we play a tune and we'll come back with
Yeah,
that?
I reckon.
Find out what that is.
Yeah.
Wow, what a history lesson that's going to be.
Dandy Warhols and Bohemian Like You on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington. Carl, what's the story then?
Right, so what did you say you're going for? You've got your 3 titles, your 3 teasers.
Well, I think I'm gonna go for Don't Do That to It, you know it can't live without an head.
I'm looking forward to this.
Right.
Right.
So this is Educating Ricky, for those that
Yeah.
have just tuned in.
Now, something that Ricky told me about when he was educating me was that a cockroach, if you cut its head off, it lives for a week,
Yeah.
right?
And the only
what
reason it dies is 'cause it can't take on water.
Sure. It doesn't have a great time in that week, though, does it?
No.
I mean, it doesn't get
No.
much done, I don't imagine.
It just needs water, and because it can't find any, like its eyes, it eventually dies,
Yeah.
right?
No.
So what?
No, it's not, that's not, it's 'cause
Anyway.
it can't drink.
Anyway.
So, have you heard that one about worms?
Okay.
I have gone.
If you cut a worm in half,
Yeah.
a lot of people have said in the past that it'll turn into 2 worms.
Right.
But that isn't actually true.
Okay. Who said that?
No, it used to be like, you know,
Kids at school
they said it on, kids at school and stuff.
Yeah.
So that, you know, a lot of people think that.
Don't pick him up on stuff, Steve. It's bad enough.
Sure.
So, but what they can do, if you get a worm, right, and you find out which end its head's at,
Right.
if you you've got its head there at the left-hand side, right, and if you sort of cut it in half,
Right.
but not in half, so there's more of its neck than the tail, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bit that you've cut off will sort of die, and the rest of the worm will get better. So in a way, you can cut it in half, and it'll survive, but only one half will survive.
Okay.
Yeah? What have you learnt there?
I wish you hadn't chosen that one, Rick, to be honest.
I know, because it's nothing, is it?
Yeah.
You know that
No
joke,
one
you know that
information is-
joke, how would you tell a worm's head from its eye? You put it in a bowl of flour and wait till it farts.
Yes.
Right? I told my mate that, right, and he went, what if it coughs?
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So, there is a bit of truth in that myth of cutting one in half.
Where did you get this information? I don't understand where you get this information
That was from the Fortean Times. It was like
Right.
the myth about worms.
Yeah.
That was the big article that week.
Did it take you as long to read that article as it took you to tell us just then?
I like the fact that it starts off debunking a myth
Yeah.
that we hadn't heard of anyway.
Exactly.
You know the big thing about cutting a worm in half and making 2 worms?
No.
Yeah. What's the other one? What's
I
the
mean,
other
it's not the
headline?
thing to do either, by the way. Don't go doing it.
No. It's not very nice. It's cruel.
But it can get by
and
if
it's
you do.
pointless.
Yeah,
There's no scientific worth
yeah.
in that.
Well, there you go.
Okay then.
So the others now, you see
was the
what I
others?
do.
What
No,
was
I'll
the
tell you
others?
the other titles. You're not having them yet. That's the whole idea of this. People will be driving or about to go out doing the shopping. They'll think about that now.
What was the other 2?
Well, the other 2.
They won't think about that. They've forgotten
No,
that.
they will. They will.
No, they've forgotten that already.
If only it was raining. And what's tomato with you?
Right,
That-
you've
I'm
got
looking
tell
forward
us-
to that one.
No, you've got to tell me tomorrow with you.
Look what's happening. You see, you already want more education, and this is what listeners will be doing.
I tell you, I wish you were a teacher. I so wish you were a teacher.
Do you know what I mean? Kids would be saying, I know it's 3:30, but I don't want to go home, I want more.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing with you. I'm teaching you.
Why are
taking
you
in
teaching
information.
me things about not to cut worms in half and what's tomato with you? Please tell me what's tomato with you, Carl.
In a bit,
No.
in a bit.
Rick,
What?
I tell you, he's thought the show through. He's
Yeah.
teasing the audience. You're excited. They're listening.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So listen, I think we should all, because we got your competition to squeeze and we got all these great goodies. Let's not
This is
forget.
amazing.
Hello, children of the corn.
I do feel
We
slightly
can't give that
guilty
away
that,
before
that
3
now this is Carl Pilkington's show. I don't think we should have our names involved.
No.
It's not fair, is it? And I think we should give Carl the money.
I don't want my
Yeah.
name to this. It's the Ricky Gervais show. Yeah? Right, the quiz.
Yeah.
Will we get that out of the way, because they've only got an hour to start.
Don't you worry
emailing.
about that, Carl. I've already got this one. I'm thinking on your terms now. Let's play a tune. We'll come back
What we play?
with the big competition information. All right? Money Mark. We got a classic from Money Mark from his album Push the Button. Play that, Carl. And afterwards, are we excited? You got the competition. Look at his face. He's so excited now. He's thought this through.
He's loving it.
Rockbusters.
Coldplay. The Scientist on XFM 104.9. Right. Competition, isn't it?
No, it's Educating Ricky Part 2.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
I wasn't even listening. He's doing all the work, I wasn't even listening. Oh, and he's spilled some water down that. Right, what's this one again then?
Right.
What's the teaser headline?
teaser headline is, "What's tomato with you?"
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Go on in.
How excited were you when you came up with that? You couldn't wait to come in and tell us, could you?
I think it's a good one because you won't forget it now, will you? I mean, like the worm one. What's so special about the worm?
You know, a lot of people think that if you cut a worm in half, 2 worms will grow, but no. What happens is if you cut the head end slightly nearer the tail than the tail will die, but the worm with the head will be okay. So, it's exploded a myth, and it taught me something.
Right, so the second one, part 2 of Educating Ricky. What's tomato with you?
Yeah.
What this one's about is, ages ago,
There's scientific.
There's never a date. There's never a country, a location.
Okay, settle down, children. No, this is A-level history. Right.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. When a mental place with swords was a king. Forget his name, but he was a loony. So, and it was literally ages ago.
Yeah.
So, good luck in the exam. Yeah.
Right. So, like, you know, alright, many years ago.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Cleared that up. Go on.
They thought tomatoes were poisonous. Right?
Okay.
Because what
Hold on, are they going to be proved wrong at the end of this story?
Well, what...
Because I don't want to give away the ending, but is it something to do with the... Are they poisonous tomatoes?
No.
Oh, you're having a laugh.
I don't believe it.
But,
Go on,
but
go on.
They could have been eating tomatoes all this time.
Oh, Steve, what's the matter with you anyway?
Okay, so hang on a minute.
What's the
Let's just
matter with
recap quickly. Many years ago,
Yeah.
when people thought tomatoes were poisonous.
Yeah.
Go on, yeah.
Well, they didn't know they were poisonous then, because they were still eating them. But what was happening
Well, they're not.
was-
But they're not poisonous.
but hang on a minute.
Alright, and it's not. I'm just going to listen. I'm not even going to talk.
Okay, I'm not going to tackle
So,
anymore.
if you remember, years ago, they didn't have, like, pottery plates. they had lead plates, right?
What are you talking?
Just let him talk.
Sorry, what year is this?
Let him talk.
Come on.
Plates made out of lead, and
Right.
what they'd end up doing, they'd say, right, do you want a tomato? And they'd go, yeah, all right. And they'd put the tomato on the lead plate and cut it, and because of the acid in the tomato, right, it would sort of make the lead runny, and the lead would go into the tomato, and they'd say, oh, it's lovely this, and they'd be eating it. They'd get food poisoning, lead poisoning, what have you, and they'd be really ill. So they thought tomatoes were poisonous, so they didn't eat them for many years.
And when
then
you say
someone
they,
said,
do you
this
mean the
didn't
people
happen.
of Narnia?
Yeah, this didn't happen,
Where was
Carl.
this happening?
Sort of in Britain and that.
You put him on the spot there. Oh, I hope there's no uppity pupils at this school when they go, what do you mean, sir? Oh, if you're gonna... Oh, I'm fed up with you.
Do you understand?
No.
So the
No, you've got... No, right, okay, first of all, Carl, where'd you get this information from?
Where did I
14
get
times
that?
as well?
Do you know?
You can't remember.
I don't know where I got that from. I don't know where I got it from. But why don't you think that makes sense?
But, what? Someone once got lead poisoning from a tomato?
Not just one, loads, and then all of a sudden. No.
Why is this educating me?
Because I'm telling you that tomatoes. You
I
eat them.
can't take anything away from this.
Yeah,
I don't know what to take away from this. What have I learned? What have I learned? Don't mix lead with tomatoes. Why is this educational in any shape or form? What are you telling me? A long time ago in the land of Glunk, right, where the ninnies did slib, right, they thought tomatoes were poisonous because they ate plates of lead. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but we all know tomatoes aren't poisonous.
Is that what we're taking from the story?
Is that the moral of the story? Don't believe these people that I'd never heard of before. What are you talking about, Carl?
I think it's a bit weird.
It's a bit weird, yeah.
These the same people that were spreading those malicious worm rumours.
My hangover's coming back. I've got to get some water. Play a record that was rubbish. Doves, Caught by the River on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington, doing the button stuff. Actually becoming a little bit of a producer.
Carl,
He's put a
yeah.
bit of work in, hasn't he? He's come up with a few games, and we made him... He's getting a bit stressed when we shout at him because the mics don't work or it's hanging off. It was too hot in here. He couldn't get the thing working last week. I mean, I really would throw this studio away and get a real one.
Yeah. Well, I'd get one of those ones you can buy for like tenner from Argos.
Argos, yeah, like Bon Tempe. My first studio.
My first
with a little
broadcasting
picture of
studio.
Karl on it. Yeah.
Exactly. That'd be great product placement.
What have you got this week for us, Karl? Because again, we've put very little. Well, I said I would put. I'm not hungover, but I've put nothing into
Rick,
it.
have you done any work for this week's show?
No.
None
You?
whatsoever? No.
Okay, Karl, what have you got? What have you got? Quick. Keep them. It's 5 past. They're turning over already. They're finding other things.
Karl, what have you come up with?
There's
Right.
melon stew. There's
Well,
everything. Well, go on.
We've got after the success of last week, Rockbusters.
Okay.
We're doing that again.
Sorry, were you on the same show as us?
I thought it went all right last week.
Yeah. Okay.
good.
Right, so we'll be doing that. Got some nice prizes, which.
Oh, what prize? What arbitrary films have you got? Have you got?
Don't
Oh, no, wait.
tell her yet. Don't tell
No,
her.
I'll tell you what. If it's Children of the Corn 2, then can I enter this competition?
There you go.
No, no, no.
What is that?
He's got some different prizes. Maybe I should just tease the audience with those a bit later, Rick, because there's some exciting stuff there.
That's going to be amazing. Yeah.
Right, so
I don't want to give too much away, Rick, but one of them is a copy of The Office on DVD.
Is anything like maybe Burt Reynolds' straight-to-video film? Are there any of those in
Sadly,
there?
nothing quite as classy.
Fist.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
so we've got that lot to give away.
Yeah.
We've got
on. Hurry up, quick.
educating Ricky, where I teach stuff.
Because you taught me that people used to eat tomatoes off lead plates in the land of Narnia last week,
that's
which was
what we learned
good.
last week.
Yeah.
No, what
Is
was-
it only tomatoes they ate off the lead plates, by the way? Why didn't they think other fruits and vegetables were poisonous?
No, it wasn't. It was because tomatoes had acid in them. That was the problem. You see, you don't listen, right?
Well, lots of fruits have acid in them.
Yeah, but they didn't eat them back then. they didn't have bloody kiwi fruit and stuff.
Don't
did they,
say
back then?
bloody. You're a producer. You'll start saying shit and cock and stuff. You start saying bloody.
Tits.
Play the.
Hang on, right, and...
Go on, play the
keep him hooked, right?
Yeah.
We've still got a song with a story in it.
Yeah. You don't want to play Babushka, do you? He doesn't like the idea of Babushka. I told him that was a story.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like it. Devil went down to Georgia. Someone sent in. You know, he's looking for a soul to steal.
Yeah.
Doesn't like it. Why don't you like that?
Do you know the song?
Not particularly.
Right, it's a song about a lad who goes into a pub on a normal night, and
it's in sort of the deep south of America, New Orleans, something like that. It's you know, it's not the old Kent Road.
Right, okay.
Okay, go on.
goes into a pub. There's a devil in there who's getting a bit cocky. He's had a bit to drink, and he's saying, "Do you want to sort of gamble your soul away with me, and we'll see who's best at playing the violin?"
Yeah.
And I think the lad wins in the end, but it's not real enough. Whereas the one.
Oh. What? Not like the Shadow that got fed up and started pushing kids off bikes?
Rick, I think you're
In
referring
Boston.
to stuff that no one made sense of last week.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we should refer to last week.
Let's play Mock Turtles, Can You Dig It? And then we'll come back and we'll talk about that.
And
I've come to the conclusion, Rick, we should never refer to stuff Karl said in the past, because it would just take too long to explain.
Okay, alright, that's fair enough. Oh, Foo Fighters and All My Life on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me, Stephen Merchant and Karl Pilkington. So, just before we do educating Ricky, this is where Karl thinks he can give me something of interest and teach me something to take away. Last week I found out that somewhere in a strange land people thought tomatoes were poisonous because they ate them with lead. Things like that. What was the other one you told me?
what else was it last week? Bit of worms. Cut me off.
Yeah. Oh, I sent him a text message. I was on the train, a bit bored, and I read in, I think it was Metro, scientists have found out that worms get stressed, and they found out that the fat ones didn't live as long, and when they checked the thin ones that lived longer, they found out they had a gene for de-stressing them. Right? Karl, do you remember what you said?
No.
He went, well, that's stupid, isn't it? He said, did these other ones die of natural causes? I went, yeah. He went, alright. Because it could be that the fat ones couldn't get off the pavement quick enough and got squashed. So maybe the scientists go, yeah, we didn't... yeah, they come to think of it, they were flat as well as fat.
I think the reason that the worms are getting stressed is because people like Karl are cutting them in half to try and make 2 snakes.
Yeah, yeah.
Two worms.
Yeah.
That's the concern.
He said they can't even commit suicide if they're stressed by cutting their throat. I also sent what I thought was quite interesting, that the scientists have found that the elephant hasn't got the best memory. The sea lion has,
Right.
based on they've got a sea lion and they got it back into the old laboratory 10 years after it had taught it a simple trick, and it could still do the trick. What did you say to that, Karl?
I'd say they don't go up to much anyway, so if you do teach it something, it is going to remember it.
Sure.
Because it's got nothing else to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it also, I mean, I like sea lions, they look nice and everything, but what do they do?
What was that? Sea lions?
Yeah, what are they here for? It's another jellyfish, as far as I'm concerned. It's like, it's there and people know about them, but what do they do?
Yeah.
What do we do? What do we do, Karl?
Well,
what do we do?
A cat, first, Steve said, is good for your heart. So you
Why is it all geared to what's good for us?
well... Anyway.
Educating Ricky.
Good, we've settled that then. Go on.
The titles that are meant to sort of pull you in.
Yeah.
We've got, what was it? Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Yeah.
You've got It's Not His Vault. And, Get a Load with This.
Get a load of this. So, which pun do I pick first? I think I'll go for, get a load of this.
Get a lobe of this.
Yeah, get a load of this, yeah.
Well, that's a story about a girl who, she was deaf. right, for 4 years. And, it happened quite a bit back, this.
What year? Or was it?
About- I think it was
specific ages ago, was it?
About, yeah, quite a bit back. She was deaf for about 4 years. Having an argument with her mum, it said, which I didn't quite understand. Because I don't know how they do that.
Yeah.
But she was having an argument, and a man pushed her against a wall, and she banged her head, and her hearing came back.
Okay.
Was she wearing a Walkman and it fell out? And she'd realised, well, oh, that's
There's
why.
no explanation.
There's no explanation. Well, why is that teaching me something then?
Right, so I knew you'd say this, right? So I thought, right, I'll stick something on it. Do you know that bees are deaf?
No! No, you can't just... No! No. If
No.
you ask someone something they don't know the answer to, they don't tell you something else. Just, I'll tell you something else then. I can't answer that, I'll tell you something else. Imagine that. If you asked a teacher. Look, how do birds fly? Wow, if you're going to do that, tallest building is... I mean, what?
Well,
That was the equivalent, Karl, of running away when we asked you a question.
Yeah, the intellectual equivalent of going, look over there, there's a monster.
Yeah.
Listen, what do you mean? What she... Okay, so... Oh.
So her
There's
hearing
no
came back.
explanation. There's no explanation. Or you don't know.
well, there isn't one, is there, really? It's a bit
What,
weird.
did
But the
doctors,
only
did
thing
doctors not look into it?
No, I think they just said, oh, that's good.
But, so again, I don't... Where did this information... Is that... If you read this on
Is
the net,
that
is that
it?
all they put on
There
the
was
net?
once a deaf woman who hit her head and she
And her
could hear.
hearing came back.
It was bizarre things about being deaf.
Was there
and-
three,
Oh,
like...
yeah.
Was there
I've
sort
got
of...
that book, yeah, it's a good book, that.
Was there three
Yeah.
more pages you just couldn't be bothered to read on?
Yeah.
No, it was just a little bit, and it
Was there a
said-
little picture, a cartoon picture?
No pictures, I just
And
read
we going,
it.
ow!
Look,
Ow,
if you
I
don't
can
want to
hear.
know, if you don't want to learn, you know.
Yeah. Okay, it's not his fault. Let me have it's not his fault. You gotta save this. This has got to teach me something. It'll be an interesting story.
Right, it's not his vault. This fella,
Yeah.
What year? Ages ago?
Olden times?
I'd say in the 70s,
Okay.
Would you? Any evidence for that?
and,
Does he wear flares in the story?
Right,
Is that
this
your
is-
reason?
no, it's a bit like Yori Geller, this fella, right, where
Oh.
he's electric,
He's electric.
and, if he walks past the telly would fizz.
Uh-huh.
If he walked past the radio, it all goes zzz, like that.
Oh.
His hair stuck up all the time, and he'd be having a bath, and everything would be all right, and then the power would sort of switch on in his body, and the electric in his body made him jump out of the bath. So,
What do you mean so? What is that so? What does that so mean? You've given us nothing. You've given us nothing.
You'd have to at least give us the scientific explanation.
Yeah.
electric eels have 400 volts in them.
Oh, is this the running away again?
What was that one called?
Yeah, but but
It's not his vault.
but there's a reason that not his fault. It's not his fault. I thought it was going to be something about
I
keeping it
think
in
we
a
should.
safe.
I think we should do these the other way round. I
It's
think you
not
should
his
tell us
fault.
the story and then we'll hear the pun.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Right, let's leave it.
Play a tune.
Forget it.
Educating Ricky.
Doing it. We're not doing it.
No, we are. Oh. What? Don't look at me like that.
Oh, Karl, you're in a bad mood.
The Coral,
I'm all right.
dreaming of you. Right, do the last one. Do the last one. Carl's saying we're never doing this again because we don't appreciate it. Yeah, Carl, you don't know how good this feature is, mate.
Right, last one.
Yeah.
Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Go on then, tell me about that one. What's that? What am I going to learn from this?
Right, well, do you know the saying, put a sock in it?
I like it already.
Do you know the saying?
Yeah.
Right, well, do you know where it comes from?
I assume it's shut up, so I'll stuff your mouth with a sock to shut you
Well,
up.
Years ago.
Yeah. Sorry, am I right?
No, not really. Ages ago.
1970s?
50s,
Okay.
I'd say. Do you know the old,
I'd say.
do you know the old gramophone?
Yeah.
With the big horn on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, well, those stereos didn't have a volume control on them. Right? So they'd be listening
Oh,
to
so you
the
put a
album,
sock in the...
and you
mute.
put something like a sock.
That's a real one, you see. That's taught me something. That's good. That's excellent, Carl. That is the only one that counts, like chewing the fat, if they're true. I'm assuming they are. It works. It's of interest. I haven't got it verified yet, but that is educating Ricky. That's brilliant. I will say the other two were more entertaining. So, you know,
Do you understand the distinction, though, between that one and Electrical Man?
And, or I've hit me head, I can hear you, Mum.
Yeah. Can you see the difference, though? Or...
Are
all
not
three
really, because when I read all three, I took something away from all of them.
What
What did you take away from the
other
electrical
two?
man?
I just thought, oh, imagine that. Imagine how annoying that would be.
But that's
Yeah.
not education, is
And
it
it's
really?
not taking anything
No, but
away.
Think about it, right? We take our lives for granted all the time, don't you? You get up in the morning, it's like, oh, I'll get up and walk for a shower. Some people can't walk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy, he can't even have a... You know what I mean? It's nice to have a bath, isn't it, when you got time on your hands and
Yeah.
you can relax. This guy can't even do that. He might be alright for a bit, but he's not really enjoying it, because at any moment, it could strike.
Yeah.
So, he can't even do that. He can't comb his hair, because it keeps going a mess.
Yeah.
He can't watch his
Nor can you.
No, he can't.
Does he fight crime? What does he do with his powers?
Yeah.
I think he just has to sit around, because he can't work with machinery,
Right.
because he'll probably blow a fuse.
Yeah, so he just sits around.
Think about it, what can he do? What normal things can he do?
Skateboarding.
Going for long walks.
Yeah,
Put a wetsuit on.
well, he couldn't do that.
Why?
Ooh, water and electric.
No, wetsuits aren't actually wet. They're dry initially.
You just put a whole wetsuit on and walk round with flippers and
A
rub the
wetsuit's
top.
not like a dinner jacket that's like really wet.
Well,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is think, do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And what was the
And
other one
the
again?
girl, the girl deaf, 4 years hits her head.
Yeah. That's just,
What have you learned from that?
What is that?
Well, imagine how happy you'd be. Remember that time when I nearly died? When I choked on a Mr. Freeze Pop? Right?
No, tell us that one again.
No, I told you, didn't I?
Tell us again.
Yeah, but the people will remember it, and then it's...
They won't. They weren't listening. Go on. What happened?
It was ages ago when my mum and dad used to go out shopping on a Friday.
1970s?
Get the food in. get a week's load of food in the cupboard and that, and we'd, you know, they'd come in with all the food, and we'd all be like, oh God, you know, there's no food left on a Thursday really, so we'd all be hungry on the Friday by the time the food got in.
I love that.
And
That
I'd
they
be
wouldn't
like-
eat it. I imagine him like jackal puppies.
Yeah.
Just like licking your parents' mouth for food as they
So-
come through the door.
So they come in from the supermarket, they're emptying the box. Our kid had got some biscuits and what have you. I
Frenzy, just a feeding frenzy, like pigeons.
grabbed the Mr. Freeze Pop and knocked it back really quick, but it wasn't frozen, so I knocked it back so it was like a liquid, and it went down the wrong way, right, and I was choking, right, and I nearly died. It must have been about, how long can you go before you die?
A couple of minutes to do
Right,
it.
I reckon about a minute 50. Right, I was really close to dying.
How do you know you were close to dying? Did your life flash before you?
No, but I just was like,
There's loads of instances of him eating pops.
Yeah, exactly.
I just was dead.
40 of those.
whatever, right?
What do
anyway.
you think you'd see if your life flashed past you? What do you think, which elements would stand out for you, do you think?
What?
Uh,
Start now, go back. What do you remember? What's the first thing you remember?
as a kid.
Yeah, just anything
Right,
now.
Being in a hall and having our dog licking my face.
That's your earliest memory?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next one?
Right, next one's probably
What?
being at primary school with Lindsay.
Yeah.
Was that your girlfriend?
Well, a little friend who was a girl.
Sure.
And we used to have like tins with letters in, and you'd have to write stuff. But anyway, what were we doing?
What? It got confused.
Right, so anyway,
I'm intrigued by the dog that was licking your face.
well, bin that.
We won't win that.
no, it's a great
Rockbusters.
feature. I just think you need to be a little bit more careful about what you consider to be education.
Gone
All right,
funny.
all
I fell
right.
over.
All right, well, I'll...
We'll work on it next week. Play a tune, and what have you got for us? Because we've got a big competition.
We've
Come
got
on!
to do the competition. We've only got 25
Yeah, well, come on
Don't
then,
worry
quick
about
then.
it, Carl.
Do
Play a
something,
tune.
play
We'll
a
come back with
tune.
Rockbusters.
What are we playing?
Let's play a bit of,
Death in Vegas. Scorpio Rising.
featuring the voice of, is it Noel Gallagher?
Liam, innit?
Is it Liam?
Sounded a bit like him.
Liam here.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, innit?
Excellent, yeah. Right, okay, let's get this show well and truly on the road. We better start, educating Ricky next, Carl? What have you got for me? I can't wait for learning. I need learning. I need education.
We should just
Teach me
explain,
something.
obviously, for those that have just tuned in, Carl, tries to teach Ricky 3 things each week.
Based on the pun title,
And yeah,
Educating Rita.
each of them, just to tantalise Ricky, is abbreviated into some kind of headline.
A cryptic
tantalise
clue
him.
involving a pun.
So what have you got for us this week?
They are really cryptic this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
First story, little headline, is, don't worry about him, he can do it.
He can handle it.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit like he can handle it, but it's
Yeah.
not. Brilliant.
Second one.
Oh, get a lobe of
I'm
Get a lobe of this.
Some classics. Who can forget? Get a load of this.
Yeah. Coming soon.
And stocking 8 Waterman. Go on.
second one.
Yeah.
I'm committed to this treatment.
I'm committed to this treatment.
Yeah.
All right, tantalising.
Yeah. And the last one, the police are causing a bit of a stare.
The way he looks when he says it. I wish we could see. Can't we get Karl on telly?
There's got to be a way.
We cannot. With all the cable channels, anyone can get on telly these days. Let's
Right,
let's phone up. Let's get you on Choice or something. Just a little, just Karl.
What are you going for?
Oh, he can handle it, I think.
Don't worry about him. He can handle it.
He can handle it.
Sorry,
Okay,
yeah.
let's hear this one.
Right, are you familiar with the phrase "burning the candle at both ends"?
Yeah.
Do you know how it's come about?
I know a man
Well,
who does.
I assumed that it was to get more light in the room.
How would that work?
Well, they'd put it sideways and light both wicks, so out of one candle they could get
No.
two. No, go on.
No, what it is...
I know what
is,
it means. It means you're doing too much. You're staying up too much.
Right.
You're not getting enough sleep, and you're
Well, years ago,
yeah.
when they didn't have light bulbs and that.
Oh yeah. What year is this? Literally ages ago, specifically.
Yeah, quite a bit back.
Okay.
Didn't have light bulbs and that, so they used to have candles
When
in
did the light bulb come in? Because I can't remember at the moment.
don't know.
Okay, go on.
So, yeah, so they've got a light bulb.
You're not. You wouldn't know. You're a doctor. You're not a historian. Go on.
And people who worked a lot of hours, yeah,
How many? Literally lots.
they get up early in the morning because they have to be up early,
Yeah,
and it's dark outside, so they light the candle,
sure.
and they wear it out a bit, and then they'd be getting in late as well,
Yeah.
and like, they'd be like, oh, it's dark, I'll have to light the candle again, and they're burning candle at both ends of the day. So that's where the saying comes from, burning the candle at both ends. So,
All right.
that's a little lesson.
Yeah.
Lesson one.
Okay. Can I have?
No, you can't have
You
another
can't
one
rush
yet.
into them, Rick. You've got to.
I've got to soak
you've
in
got,
that.
You've got to soak that one in. Any questions for Karl off the back of that?
What do you think?
So people were. I mean, basically, where this comes from is people were
They're literally burning the candle at both ends of the day.
Sure.
There you go. So we've still got
Go on.
I'm committed to this treatment, and
I can't wait. This is like Christmas
Rick, I
Eve for
should
me.
just say-
It's like Christmas. I've got to open another present now.
No, I'm afraid we've got to save it. Rick, listen, we often get a lot of email correspondence during the show, Rick, which I don't sort of pass on to you because, I mean, you're busy, you're planning the show and stuff,
Sure,
you've got a lot of
sure,
ideas, you've got
sure.
music and stuff to worry
Yeah.
about. So I check the emails, and we get a lot of response, a lot of people that obviously, you know, want to give us feedback. Just a sample one, from Richard Anderson. He's just emailed us in here, Rick, because he's been listening to the show. He says, Ricky, your show is appalling. Are you actually aware you're on the radio, or has someone just secretly stuck a microphone on you? That's from Richard Anderson. So that's typical of the kind of feedback, Rick, we're getting today. So,
It's that good, is it?
So that's the kind of, high positive praise that we're getting. So,
I'm
keep,
glad
going
Anderson's
in the
listening
same
because I wanted him.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I was gunning for him as a fan.
I was worried that Anders,
early on in our career. So
absolutely, but,
I think he's hooked now, though.
but thanks, Anders, for getting in touch. Good work.
he's sitting through it for Hellraiser, though, isn't he?
Yeah, well, that's still to come, of
Still
course,
to come.
Rockbusters.
Still to come. What we playing?
A bit of old dirty I can't say the word, it's offensive. Old
Is it
ODB.
bollocks? Is it old dirty bollocks?
No.
What is it?
Old dirty.
Old dirty big cock? What is it? What is it?
I can't tell you, it's offensive.
Nirvana.
Amazing.
We were just talking, we were getting excited about that,
Yeah,
aren't
he's
we?
got an incredible
Brilliant.
voice he has.
And Grohl drumming it's brilliant. You know, you're right, the new one from Nirvana. Well, it's time for Educating Ricky Part 2, isn't it? I'm excited, Karl. I'm going to learn so much from this. What's the choices again? What
Right, you've got left.
Still keep phoning your answers to
Email.
Email, sorry, yeah.
The answers to Rockbusters.
Yeah.
Right, okay, Educating Ricky, Part 2.
Right. I'm committed to this treatment.
Yeah.
Is one.
I've got to go for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the other one is the police are causing a bit of a stare.
He still says it like it's the best thing he's ever come up with, which in a way it is.
It could be. Right, go on then. I'm committed to this treatment.
Right. Do you know the saying?
Is it just sayings now? Are they all sayings this week?
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, the other one isn't. Frog in your throat?
The saying, there's a frog in your throat?
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
assume it's when you croak a little bit. You sound like a frog.
No. Right. Might seem a bit weird, this one, right? But years ago,
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, what is that clue? Committed to this treatment?
it's about frogs committed.
Probably works better with a K and an ER written down.
Well, also, if you'd pronounced it committed,
yeah.
but not committed.
Committed to this treatment! Right, go on then.
That's
Right,
genius.
so yeah.
Well, what?
You go to the doctors and you go with throat hurting a bit.
Right.
And what they did ages ago,
Ages ago. What year was this approximately?
we are going back quite a bit with this
Oh,
one.
okay. Go on.
And the doctor would say,
He did history. Imagine years ago. Go on.
and the doctor would say, right, keep your mouth open. I need to look at your tonsils, and the jaw would ache a bit because they weren't as quick back then because they didn't have the technology and stuff, and they'd have to
Sure.
like stare at it and study it and stuff, and like they get an achy jaw, right?
Keeping their mouth open.
Yeah, like you get, you know,
Yeah.
when you eat a Mars
yeah,
bar or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a bit. So they'd sat there, and they used to always close their mouth, and it used to annoy the doctor,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
So what they did, they used to get a toad
Right.
and put it in the mouth,
Rubbish.
Okay,
Rubbish.
keep talking. Keep talking.
and that way they couldn't close their mouth because either they'd squash it,
Right.
or apparently you're not allowed to lick a toad's back.
So the doctor would have them for breaking the law.
No, but it's poisonous, right? A toad's back. You should never lick a toad's back.
or put it in your mouth, really.
Oh, just stop
no,
for a second.
Wait. What?
Can I just ask one question?
Go on,
Can I
yeah,
just
go
ask
on.
one question?
I've got a few, but
No,
go on.
sure. My initial thought is, it sounds like a brilliant bit of sort of medical knowledge there. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
My only thought is, how does the doctor see past the toad at your tonsils?
What's he actually looking at with the mouth open? Surely the toad is
Isn't
in
it
the
like
way.
hopping around in the way?
It didn't say.
Sorry, and my first question is, was this on the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Carl, that is bollocks. That is, I mean,
Well, all right then. Let's turn this round. Where does the saying "you got a frog in your throat" come from?
probably because you sound a bit croaky. Probably that. Probably because you sound a little bit like a frog when you've got a sore throat.
Carl, did you not question it just for a moment when you read it? Just for a second, didn't you think, that seems an odd approach? Firstly, why a frog, of all the different
Because
species?
it's poisonous. A toad.
So a toad, so it's a toad as well.
Yeah, well, it worked. I'm committed. Worked.
No,
No,
it's
my
the frog
point
in your
is it's frog
throat.
in the throat.
I was going to change it to "Have you heard the news, Toad Day?" But I went with the frog.
Oh God!
Right. So
Right. So that's
think
rubbish.
about it.
So that's rubbish. Next, can I have
Let's play a tune, let's come up with the
God?
last one. Can I just
Chloe?
say... No, just play it.
Yeah.
Yo, Carl. Why are you telling me this? I mean, thank you, because it's, killed a couple of minutes, but why is this educating me? What are you telling me here?
Because there's a bit of a thing there, a bit of a fable, that don't always judge a book by its cover. Yeah? So, the guy, he hadn't even had a drink. He'd probably just been shopping,
Yeah.
walking down the street, and everyone's, like, getting involved. Like, what's he doing? He shouldn't...
Hang on, I don't understand. He's walking down the street, happens to have a glass eye. He was doing nothing else to suggest he was drunk. You don't pick people up just because their eye looks like that.
But even if it happened, why are you telling me? With no particular detail. I know this, but then we're gonna get
It's not
people...
enough information.
I know, yeah.
No, there's a bit of a lesson there, educating Ricky. Just watch what you say. Don't always jump to conclusions.
The only education I can take from that is that if I ever do become a policeman, I shouldn't just arrest people because they look a bit drunk. I should just tap their eye with a pen and goes. Oh, okay, on you go.
Well,
On you go, yeah.
Guys, can I just stop you there? I'm just going to email Richard Anderson and tell him I agree.
right, listen, we're running out of time and that. We've got the
where
answers.
does the phrase
We've got-
"frog in the throat" come from?
We've got
We've got it here. It's been told.
Well, there's
Can
three.
we play a tune and come back with that? Have we got anything lined up?
yeah, we've got the song with a story in it.
Come on, Carl, let's do something. Quick, play a record.
Song with a story in it.
But never
this
mind
week.
that. Just, they're listening. We discussed this off air. Come on, play a record.
Play it.
It's
Song for
Kinks.
the Kinks.
It's a song with a good story in it. You got to listen to the words.
Carl, what was that? That was your little song with a story.
That's
wasn't it?
another little feature that we do every Saturday. Little
So
song.
make sure you tune in.
It's a song that's got a good story in it. There's a lot of music about these
What's
days.
that story about then? What's that story
You don't
about?
know what they're going on about. Whereas that classic from the Kinks called Lola.
Yeah, what's it about?
I'd listened to it for the first time properly this morning.
Yeah.
And what I've worked out from it is, there's a fella who goes out for a normal Saturday night out. He's in Soho.
Yeah.
He's having a Coca-Cola or whatever. And
Cherry Cola, yeah.
he sees this woman. He thinks, yeah, she's all right. Won't mind a bit of that. So he wanders over, and he sort of gets talking to her. He looks at her, and she's got a great figure, nice face and all that.
Lovely knob.
And she speaks, and he goes, "Oh, God." Got a bit of a bloke's voice.
Yeah.
Got a bit of a voice like a bloke. But he thought, but, you know, that's her only down point.
Sure.
So he dances around with her, and I think he sits on his knee, I think he said.
Yeah.
Anyway, it turns out it's a fella.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
A sobering lesson.
Yeah.
What do you take from that?
look, always sort of, if you think you might be talking to, a
bloke in
who's
drag.
just look at his sort of Adam's apple. And he'll probably have a hairier arse than a woman.
Yeah, I think you've gone too far then, though. I think you're already getting too close.
It's a bit late to pull out.
No pun intended, definitely.
There was a pun intended.
Oh, was it? Alright, was it?
Yes.
Alright, okay, well, don't be disgusting then. Right, okay, right, the results of,
We
Blockbusters.
ain't got a winner for the first time.
Yes, we have,
we've
we've
got
done
loads.
this.
Feature for
We've got loads of winners.
No, we haven't. We've done this feature for 3 weeks. This is the first time I've managed to sort of...
What?
Well, let's go through them then.
What have they got wrong?
The first one.
The first one?
What was the
first
clue?
one, yeah, the first one.
Well, hang on. Let's do them in reverse order first. So what's the last one?
The last one, the clue was, that bloke does sport on the telly and he's got a little kid.
What's that?
That's Destiny's Child. Des, who does ITV Sport,
that's
has got a
terrible,
tiny
man.
child, right? No,
That's terrible.
that's fine, they got that.
okay.
Destiny's Child.
Des-
What's the one?
Des
What's the one?
Tyler's
What's the
Child.
middle one?
Right, the middle one,
Right. Child.
the second one was, he doesn't like women, yet he's got a couple of kids, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Right? That was PD, that was Puff Daddy.
That is offensive. Go on.
But it's not Puff Daddy. It's Puff Daddy. And he's not even called that anymore. He's called P. Diddy.
Well,
Okay, fair enough.
but they got that one.
yeah, yeah.
And if I'm being tight, these lot are as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tight means something in Manchester. Go on.
Right? And the first one that they're having problems with, I don't think them birds should be allowed in this
They've
area.
got it.
Boyzone.
It's not Boyzone.
What's the clue again?
I don't think them birds should be allowed in this area.
That is perfect. A boy zone. No birds.
No women.
No women, yeah, birds, right? A boy zone. Sorry, Carl. If that isn't the answer, their clue is better than yours. That is brilliant. What was yours? Boy zone, it works perfectly.
What's your answer then?
Bangles.
I have no idea what that means.
Like seagulls. So you don't want them in this area, so you're banning them. Bangles.
Oh! Well, give it to boy zone, because boy zone's better. Don't think it's birds being allowed in this area, it's a boy
I think
zone.
we should have a rollover. Carl beat them. Carl beat them. You have to use his logic, surely.
But theirs works. You can't do what am I thinking. No, that's not what I'm thinking. It works perfectly. I think you've got to give it to the ones that got the boy zone.
Well, how about, right, because they didn't actually get into my head and my way
Well,
of thinking,
heaven
right?
forbid.
How about we just keep back the David Attenborough, and they can have, I'll chuck in the Hellraiser, right?
Okay.
and Blondie album and the Madness
Yeah,
one.
okay. Pick a winner at random.
Pick a winner, Steve.
I'm going to give it to Paul Sloman, who got those answers, and he also says, P.S. Carl, you're a moron. So, I'm giving that to Paul, and good luck to him.
Right, well,
He's got a crazy night tonight. If we can rush these over to him, he's got a cracking
Yeah.
Saturday night.
well, if I'm a moron, I might get your address wrong when I send them to you.
Oh,
Coming right back at you, Paul.
Yes. Right. John, play your song.
Is this it? We're almost
Carl's
done?
annoyed because
Wow,
they didn't
he's
get
wild.
banned goals.
A song from song for the ladies. I think we seem to have missed this a lot of weeks, but this is.
Sure.
I've been wanting to play this
It's not
for
like
ages.
us to forget things like that.
This is a band, Frente, who kind of came and went and no one
yeah.
was particularly interested, but they did do this lovely acoustic version of the New Order tune, Bizarre Love Triangle,
Oh,
and
right.
this just shows you how incredible the melodies and the words and everything are.
Brilliant, I'm a fan.
New Order, just play this.
Good night.
Songs for the
Bye-bye.
ladies. Is this
Bye.
in the week?
Do you reckon Richard Anderson will be back next week?
Yeah, Richard Anderson will not miss this show.
Excellent.
Every time I think of you, I get a shot right.
Missy Elliott, Work It on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Carl Pilkington.
Educating Ricky?
Yeah.
Shall I do a bit of that?
Well, the clues are coming in furious.
The answers, I should say, yeah.
Yeah. So go on then. Oh, this is what.
Yeah, Rockbusters is well underway, Carl, don't worry, you've done your
Yeah.
work there.
Okay.
Right, come on.
Right, educating Ricky.
This is my favourite bit now.
You're just going to tease us, aren't you, with 3 headlines? If you
And
like.
I'll choose one, then we got the other 2 as well.
Yeah, that's
Go
the
on.
way it works, and at the end of it, you learn some stuff. Like I say, I'm struggling a bit with knowledge.
Yeah.
At last he confesses.
Yeah. Go on.
So the 3 headlines for you to pick from, we've got, first one, we'll have a big fire tomorrow.
I got a feeling there's some vegetables involved.
Yeah, go on.
Maybe. Second one, he's a bit of a nuisance.
Okay.
Alright?
Right.
And, third one, I'll bacon in the morning, if you're sick of having me here.
Oh, that one.
I'll bacon in the morning if you're sick of having me here.
Right, I'm having that one.
That's brilliant.
Right, well, it's a saying. Do you know, cold shoulder? Giving someone the cold shoulder?
Yeah.
Alright, if you have someone round at your house, and, you know, you try to get rid of them, and they're hanging around and stuff, and you're like, oh, I wish they'd go, I'm tired and that. Well, years ago,
When? Literally years ago. Well, ages ago.
sort of,
Olden times.
I think it said medieval times.
Yonks ago then, yonks ago.
We're going back quite a bit on this
Well,
one.
you know when you find out these books, why don't you just pop down when it was?
Just make a note.
I don't think it says all the time, it just sort of says, you know, a few years back.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Never.
Alright, I'll make an effort next week.
Okay.
Right? So, it's annoying that, because my girlfriend said to me, just make a note of the time, they'll stop having a go at you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And I kind of thought, oh, it's alright.
Didn't listen?
I don't think it matters anyway in this one. We're looking at the saying, right? So
Yeah.
it's giving someone a cold shoulder, right? And what it is, right? Ages ago, there wasn't enough houses for people,
Alright.
because there wasn't much money being made. You know, there weren't big businesses. People weren't earning good money like they are now. So there wasn't as many houses, right? So what you ended up getting is like, you know, the rich people having a nice place to live,
Oh.
and the poor people were like wandering about, you know, looking for places to live and that. And what they ended up doing is, they had like, people would go round to the mate's house and say, look, I haven't got anywhere to live. It's a bit cold. Can you let me stay? Right? So they'd go, oh, alright, then you can stay a couple of days. But they ended up staying for like weeks.
Yeah.
Right? So, to sort of get rid of them, what they'd end up doing, they'd be making the dinner, and they'd, be making a lovely dinner, like, bit of meat, nice warm meat, and, nice veg, gravy, and
This happened every time, did it?
No.
This is where the saying came
This is
from.
what happened, Rick.
This is
what
that
happened.
happened every time.
It was in that vague book.
the book of vague sayings and stuff.
Right, so they'd be making a nice meal, but what they did, they looked after all the family, but the person who won't go home, they just give them some, like, sort of a cut-off of cold meat.
Right.
So they'd say, you're giving them the cold shoulder, meaning...
Right. Okay, that's rubbish. Okay, absolute.
Carl,
No,
why
no,
does
no.
that necessarily work?
Yeah. Why
Is it
do
not
they always, in every situation when you want to get rid of a lodger, well, still feed him every day, but make the meat lukewarm. So he
They
won't-
always leave then.
Yeah.
Oh, this food's lukewarm. I'm gonna become homeless
And they
again,
go,
wandering the
hold
streets.
on, are you giving me the cold shoulder? Yes. Do you want me to leave? Yes. Just say leaving. No, I like to do it cryptically. That way, in years to come, someone will have a little saying about it.
Well, anyway, that was our bacon in the morning.
Yeah.
If you've had enough of meat, we'll leave that.
Well,
Bacon in the morning! Oh, bacon in the morning if you've had enough of me!
we'll come back. What are the others? Just tease us again with the others. We'll come back to those.
You've got, he's a bit of a nuisance, and we'll have a big fire tomorrow.
Nice. Looking forward to that.
Okay.
Electric Six, Danger, High Voltage on XFM, 104.9. Sums up the show. Danger, High Voltage. Indeed. Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Burchin, and the amazing Karl Pilkington. So, other things you don't see, Karl? Got any other ones, or you obviously been thinking about this?
What
confuses you? When you look out your window, what confuses you with the world? What do you walk around going, oh, that's a bit weird? I remember, when you were in, Edinburgh, you were confused because you saw someone putting a parking ticket on some rubbish, which confused you.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
The world's a crazy place, isn't
Sure.
it? I mean, whatever you look at, you can... Do you know what I mean?
Like what? Like what?
Well, anything. I mean, you could look out the window there and you'll see something, you go, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
What are they doing that for?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this maybe we should bring back White Van Karl. There's some interesting questions this week, Rick.
Yeah.
We could pull that out of the bag if you're interested.
Shall we do that?
Just get Carl's take on the world's
Let's do it,
views.
let's do it.
I'll tell you what, we'll do that in a second. Let's have another Educating Ricky, because I think you got sidetracked with your talk of
Well, just the other thing
breastfeeding.
on things you don't see. Look at the way when I went to school, there was 2 kids with them big heads. Now,
You don't
never see them.
Sure.
Yeah, but no one else saw them anyway, Carl. It's only you that saw 2 of them, not related, and wouldn't hang around with each other because you think they thought it would be too obvious. Webbed fingers and big heads. That's amazing.
And there was a kid with a pigeon chest. So,
Oh yeah, and the lady with the head like a bag of spuds.
Let's not
yeah,
go through
don't
these
wanna
again.
go
It just
through that.
raises too many questions that can't be answered.
Yeah.
right then. So, we've got, we'll have a big fire tomorrow.
Yeah, go on.
Is that the one you want?
Let's
Yeah.
go for it.
Right, I think this was like round the 1700s.
Bluffing.
And
Just bluffing.
Who was the king then?
dunno.
Go on.
But it's about the word bonfire, right?
Bonfire.
Bonfire.
Yeah.
Do you know where it comes from?
No, go on.
No.
Right, what happened is it's got nothing to do with Guy Fawkes and that, which is what I thought when I saw it. It's got nothing to do with that. But ages ago, at 1700s,
Yeah.
right, didn't have enough houses, like I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that happens, you get people living on the streets.
Uh-huh.
You get
Sure.
diseases, people aren't cleaning properly.
Mm.
So you get more deaths.
Mhm.
All right?
Yeah.
So think about it. You've got all these dead bodies lying around. They're running out of space because there's like, I don't know why they're running out of space, but
Okay.
they haven't got much. I don't know why really. I was going to say they should have just buried them, but there's probably more land back then than now.
He doesn't need anyone else in the room to have a
conversation with himself.
Yeah, we could leave and we'd come back and you go, I've sorted it. Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, for some reason,
They presumably, if it's going to be they burnt them, it's presumably to do that it also kills the parasite or whatever's carrying the parasite on them, as opposed to burying them and not killing the disease.
well, yeah. So there you go. You've worked it out. They piled them up and they turned it into a celebration because there was a lot of fed up people at that time.
Is it to be the word bon, meaning good?
No. I'll tell you in a minute.
Go on.
So you've got all these people who are like going around and like, oh, you know, so and so died the other day, and you know, nearly every week someone they knew was dying. So you can imagine like just constant like being depressed. So and they've got all these bodies lying everywhere. It's like, oh god, what are we gonna do? So they said, we're all too fed up at the moment. Said let's make this a better world.
This was 1701 by the time they got together.
Yeah.
So they said, what we need to do is have a big party. So they said, yeah,
Good thinking.
see what you're thinking. So they go, right, well, we'll put all the bodies
Yeah.
in a big pile, and they're all diseased and that. So
Yeah.
they set fire to the bodies,
Yeah.
and they said, let's have this as a celebration to remember them by, and you know, we'll have a drink and that, and have a chat. We'll have this big fire going, and it came from bone fire.
Ah.
Right.
So
Bone
it was
fire.
it was all the bones. Bonfire is bone fire.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So that's how it came about.
Yeah. In the 1700s.
Yeah.
That was.
No, probably.
Okay.
I reckon it was 1600.
Probably earlier.
I reckon it was the plague. I reckon it came from.
But interesting stuff. Interesting
Yeah. So
stuff.
that's
Did you celebrate Bonfire Night? Is that a big celebration for you? Do you like the fireworks? I'm sick of fireworks. I just think they're rubbish.
Yeah,
fireworks.
I'm not impressed.
I've never been impressed by fireworks. Even
No.
as a kid, you know, you have to go to like sort of community kind of gatherings with a bonfire and fireworks, and like,
Yeah.
some local vicar or whatever would come out and.
But I
it
also
was
think the
just
adults think the
tedious.
kids love it, and,
Yeah.
everyone, and if they just got together and said, should we go this year? They'd all go, no.
Yeah,
let's not
absolutely.
Go. Let's not go this
Yeah.
year.
What would be better is if the vicar had wheeled out like a massive rocket,
Yeah.
climbed in,
Yeah.
gone last one to the moon as a bender, and then fired himself off. Now that, I'd pay to see. That's a firework display I'd like to see. As it is, it's just rubbish.
dear.
yeah.
Is
That's
that your feeling,
excellent.
Carl?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not keen.
No.
Sorry, what clue was that?
We'll have a big fire tomorrow.
Bone marrow. Bone marrow. Genius. Let's play the record.
Oh, God! Good to hear that again.
Always good to hear that.
Suede. Animal nitrate. Carl's all flustered because there isn't a record set up, but he's getting all tizzy. He's been more worried about his competitions than sorting out putting records on ready. What?
I'm after Steve's song for a lover.
Well, I'll tell you what. You why don't you carry on with your educating Ricky section? I'll have a look on the CD.
We'll keep it going, Steve.
Yeah, you
Cover it.
keep
Go
it
on.
going.
Go on then. Right. Okay. We've had a few emails. Anyone got it right, Carl? Anyone got it?
Educating Ricky. That's the final one. We got to get that out of the way.
We've got to get Rockbusters as well, though.
do that at the end. We can
Go on then.
But we've only got 5 minutes left.
Come on, just do educating Ricky.
Right. God. The last one that we haven't done
Right.
is he's a bit of a nuisance.
Go on then.
Again, not really that interesting.
Thanks.
No, like, again, I spoke to you in the week, and I had much better things, like when I tell you about Brian Blessed climbing Everest, and for some reason it made him, it played havoc with his belly, and
What?
he followed through, and he had to clean up.
Shut himself?
Yeah, using ice and snow.
Why are you telling me that Brian Blessed? In what way is telling me that Brian Blessed shit himself once in any way educational?
Because I was saying how he was climbing Everest, right?
Right.
I give it to him. He's an actor and that, but he gave that a go.
Yeah.
Right. He played.
What's
you
the
know,
point of that? You'd say, wouldn't you?
You'd say, God, he's you know. He's
Oh, so he's all right. Me doing a boxing match for no reason is rubbish, but him climbing Everest and shitting himself
Yeah, he did
is,
that.
is commendable.
right, and he's only going to like go and do it again. He's going to climb it again.
Yeah, but he might not shit himself this time.
Yeah, but what's the point in going? Nothing's changed up there.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
What's you been?
Well, it has. They've probably cleared it up by now. Right, but it's slip on it.
I can't really
Go-
bother telling you this one because
Come on,
To be
just
honest-
do it or do it now.
Steve, how we doing?
Look, no, never mind that. Look, just tell me what that means. Oh, he's a nuisance. Oh, this is so annoying, Carl. I'm gonna go mental.
Right,
Talk.
Right. Listen, I'm just putting
Right.
this in here, right? Right, nuisance is a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
the old fella who used to hang people.
1700s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to be able to tell somebody's weight just by looking at them. Right? That's a bit of a bonus fact.
We'll be the judge of that.
The thing that I wanted to tell you
Yeah.
is, money for old rope, do you know what I'm saying? I can't even be bothered.
Yes, you're gonna tell me now. Come on, Carl. I mean it.
Basically, money for old rope
Yeah.
came from the... right?
What was all that about? He can tell someone's weight. What was
It's a
that
bonus
for?
fact.
And Brian Blessed shitting himself. What are you? What? No, don't you? No, tell me that now. You nearly made me swear. Then, I'm getting really annoyed. I'm getting really annoyed now. Tell me this back, Carl, or I'm gonna go mental.
Come on, Carl. Time's running out.
More that people, years ago, when people used to be hung, right?
Right.
If you didn't like the person who's been hung, you'd go, God, I really don't like him. And so you never forget the time.
Presumably,
when
if they're being hung, we take that as read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so they never forget afterwards to get the hangman to get the rope and to cut it up into little pieces, and he'd sell them. He'd sell the little pieces of rope to people. And
See,
they'd go,
Carl, that's the most interesting thing, if it's true, that you've come up with.
Right. Okay. And so so they sell the rope.
they sell the rope, and it's money for old rope.
Money for old rope.
Meaning, like, you know, God, it's easy to make money, that all I have to do is cut it up and sell it.
I'm cynical.
I'm not so
Right,
convinced
listen,
now.
we're really tight, we haven't even got time for a last track, we've got an ad break and we've got to give out...
Okay, give the answers then. This is
Right.
ridiculous.
So, Steve,
on.
do you want to pick a winner?
I've got a winner when you give us the answers.
Okay, so the first clue was, that army has got some well nice trenches.
Yeah.
That was DW,
Who's that?
Dandy Warhols.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Alright.
Good, yeah.
The second one, the top of them curtains are wrecked, all
Yeah.
the material is worn.
Yeah.
HV, that's Holly Valance.
Oh, he got a phone call for a woman saying I haven't heard it, and he was talking to her off air, and she went, what is it? So-and-so said them's curtains. She went, oh right. He said, you know the thing around the top of the curtain is a palmet, not a valance, and he went, cut her off.
Yeah, but my auntie's always making balances on everything. I'll tell you about that next week, right?
I'm looking forward to that.
Right.
Is this the one that farted for 5
Yeah,
minutes?
yeah, the very same.
Yeah.
Right? So, we'll talk about that. I was in Texas, I tripped up, I landed on my knees in a puddle, WH,
Yeah.
wet knee Houston. right?
Whitney Houston.
Yeah. So,
You're a maniac.
So, who's a winner?
We've got Pete, Catherine and Laura in Newcastle upon Tyne. They're listening online, I assume, and they're
on
going to
Sky
get
Digital.
those great places. And remember, they got loads of stuff. They got the DVD here. They got Linda Green. They got Stone Roses. They got another compilation and Executive Decision.
What did you read about Brian Blessed? Is it actually true, or have you lied with
No,
someone else?
it was an interview with him in it.
And what did he say? Come on, what did he say?
He said I climbed Everest and I played havoc with me belly. Let's talk about it next week. We've really run out now.
Oh, you're a fool. Boy with the Arab Strap, Ben and Sebastian. Coming next, Educating Ricky.
You too, Electrical Storm. Steve, am I mental, or have we been playing some great tunes
We've
today?
been playing some great tunes. You're not mental. You're
On
a genius.
XFM, yeah, on XFM 104.9, Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington. Karl Pilkington in the chair now. The talked about, the acclaimed Educating Ricky.
Right, well, just in case anyone's new, doesn't normally listen.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm educating Ricky. Do a bit of research in a week, find stuff, news, history, anything that's interesting. 3 stories, I give them a nice little headline. You take your pick. Between now and 3, you're going to learn 3 things. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, the headlines are, I'll be no buying one of them.
Give us that again.
I'll be no buying one of them.
Nice, okay.
Yeah. We've also got, Hippopotamus News.
Okay. Okay.
And, Chicken You Believe It.
Can you believe it?
Well, I'm
it's
going to
your
go for
choice,
Hippopotamus News.
Hippopotamus News?
Hippopotamus News.
Right, well, this one, it's, I'm not going to take the credit here. I heard Christian talking about this on breakfast, right? Because it's a good story that happened. Basically, I don't know if I told you about it last week when we were having our spaghetti, but,
Oh, I think you did.
Right,
I
is
know what it is. I know what this is.
Okay, I've not heard this.
right, there's a little midget, right? There's a circus.
I'm loving it already.
Circus going on somewhere. I think it was in America. And,
Is that present day or old times?
I'm talking, like, in the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
Right? Little midget, circus, really packed out show, people are loving it.
Right, Steve, you'll ask the same question I did, I know.
So there's a little midget jumping up and down on a trampoline.
What sort of circus is this?
Right?
I'd pay good money to see it.
So everyone's clapping and he's getting carried away.
Because he can't believe he can't believe they're loving it. I didn't know they'd like a little person on a trampoline, but they love me.
But you know what it's like when, if there's a crowd of people sort of encouraging you to sort of go higher and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he knew it was getting out of hand. But he was jumping and he was coming down, they're all going higher, and he's going really high in the air, right? So he's doing this, crowd are clapping. There's a hippo, right? Just sat next to the trampoline, getting ready to come on and do his act.
Oh, right, I thought he was in the audience.
That's it. Getting ready to do his act, Steve.
So
He's a ventriloquist.
What do you mean he's sitting by the trampoline waiting to do his act?
Because it's-
Why does he sit in the dressing room and they go, 5 minutes, Mr. Mus, 5 minutes, Mr. Mus.
So anyway, right? So the hippo's there.
He's getting annoyed, is he? Because the midget's
He's
eating
going,
into
how
his
can I
tongue.
follow this? How
Yeah.
can I,
He's
this is
probably
really
thinking,
annoying. They're going to be,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
no.
So
He's thinking, he's already done the trampoline, my pogo stick act is never going to work.
Yeah, go on. So there's a hippo waiting. See, it's a great story, and I just know he embellishes it, or he gets slightly wrong. Go on.
so
So there's a midget jumping up and down, the hippo's
Yeah.
getting annoyed. He
The
wants to
crowd
go.
are going mad.
crowd
The
are going
midget's
mental.
loving it. Can't believe his luck. Although you think he probably knows he's dicing with danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, they're all saying higher, higher. He gives it one big like heavy sort of landing on the trampoline, goes really high, but goes off at a funny angle.
Oh,
Hypotenuse.
okay.
Yeah. And sort of flies off.
Hypotenuse! Hypotenuse!
Sure.
Flies off at a funny angle.
Oh, dear.
Hippo's there, swallows him whole. Crowd are clapping, thinking that's why the hippo was waiting there.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
It's not rubbish though.
But no, maybe there was an accident in a circus with a midget and a hippo in, but at no point was this hippo waiting to go on, going, come on. The midget flew off at hypotenuse and landed in the hippo's mouth and was swallowed whole. This is what you embellish it. That is great. And what's
I
that?
have to say though, Rick, when I heard midget trampoline hippopotamus, I was thinking accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean,
It is that you should never put those three together.
Never.
It's a recipe for disaster.
It's
Everyone
textbook.
knows that. Midget trampoline hippopotamus. Are you mental?
You're asking for
Well,
trouble.
Well,
You know when he told me it, he said, and the midget, he didn't mention the hippopotamus, and he said the midget went on, and soon he fell off, and the hippo ate him. And I said, sorry, what was the hippo doing there? He went, it's a circus.
I've never heard of a circus having a hippo.
What do hippos do?
What can they do? You can't train them, can you?
What do you...
Aren't they, like, very deadly? They're
Yeah.
huge, aren't
You can't have a hippo in a circus.
you sure?
You're not thinking of Zippo?
they? He's neither clown.
Yeah. You know,
no.
and it wasn't some sort of where Zippo was eating a midget, and it's some sort of horrible sexual act.
No, it was definitely. I heard it on breakfast, right?
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, it's definitely fact.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
definitely
right,
true.
okay, good. Well, let's play a record then.
So,
I'd like to play a classic Springsteen. We're all fans of Springsteen there. This might be his debut album, I'm not sure. Greetings from Ashbury Park.
think it is, yeah.
New Jersey. And this is Growing Up. It's great, it's classic. Springs Lost Cause on XFM 104.9. Wow. Carl, we haven't had a lot of emails, they're tough.
I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I've
Any
got
ideas, Rick? You got
one, and I'm struggling with two, but I know one of the words, but I can't think of the band that fits it unless the clue's wrong, and I've got no idea with the first one, E.
Give us some again.
Just
Just
give 'em again.
quickly recap. Number one, the fella has only got one badge left. That's E. Second one, the unmarried lady is a friend he out with. That's MD. And the last one, I really, really love that woman. I love everything she does. That's M.
Well, Ricky, what is it, Ricky?
Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
So keep those coming in. If there's no winner, we don't know whether to give it to the person who gets the most right first, or have a massive rollover. And what a Christmas booty that would be, as Carl said.
Hmm.
All those. Imagine what you could have. Indecent proposal, maybe.
Who knows?
You
Who
know what I
knows?
mean?
I've got some real junk, so I can bring that in.
Yeah. The Mean Machine.
Imagine
with
someone
Vinnie
this
Jones.
Christmas. Yeah, exactly. This Christmas. I can't believe it. Oh, thank you so much for the Pelican brief. I noticed you left a price on.
And it's on VHS as well.
Oh, great.
Brilliant.
Yeah, this is a perfect Christmas gift, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. Okay.
on it.
Now,
Some
so
quite
that's going.
mediocre CDs.
That's
The
going.
perfect
That's
Christmas
going
gift.
on. That's a big prize. It's a big weekend prize on
Yeah.
XFM. Educating Ricky, part 2. Right. What's the clues
Right,
left?
well, we've got left the headlines. I'll be no buying one of them,
Yeah.
and we've also got chicken. You believe it? Chicken. You believe it? So they're the two that are left. Which one's you going
Right.
for?
Chicken, you believe it, is not that picture, is it? In that we saw.
Which picture?
The bloke with the.
No.
Right,
no.
okay.
God, that was bad.
Right, okay.
Right, so
I was about to explain
We
that.
can't really
but-
discuss this on air, can we?
Well, we can. Steve brought in, Carl, the best book ever, which is, what is it?
I found it when I was moving house. It's an FHM publication, and it's kind of like lots of grotesque pictures and stories, and like the book of a book of freaks and weirdos and
And
grotesques.
Carl opened it, and the first one was like...
at the back. I
At the
started
back.
from the
Well,
back.
you couldn't believe your luck, could you?
What was
as
it?
soon
What
as
was
you
what was number 50?
A bloke with two heads.
And he said, what's number 1?
Yeah.
And then number 6, there's a bloke who's a squid or something.
Octopus.
Yeah. yeah. He's loving it. At number 1, he said, well, it's just a fella under a rock. And I went, oh no, read on, I think I know about this. And it's the fella that was found, he caused a landslide while having sex with a chicken. And they pulled him off, and there he is, the chicken owner.
Right,
So Carl
so-
could not believe his luck. So it's not that.
Chicken. You believe it?
I'll have that one
You're
then.
going for that one?
Yeah.
Right, well, we've talked a lot on the show about,
We've talked a lot on the show.
Yeah.
about animals without heads.
we haven't! We haven't! We talked about cockroaches could live without a head for 7 days.
Yeah, we've talked about that, and then, of course, there was the, the well-known one about the fella who had his head cut off, and he
blinked in
he
the-
said
in
to
his
his
head.
mate, "Count how many times I blink when my head comes off."
Yeah,
Was that
as you,
one?
when you told it to me, you said his head came off, and he said, as he said to the basket, he said, "Quick, count how many times I blink." And it was Nick Frost that had to go, "No, Carl, no, he said it before." I went, and that was lovely. So yeah, we've talked quite a lot about things heads coming off. Go on then.
Well, this one,
Yeah.
right? Back in 1945,
You looked up the date.
Got a specific date. Wow.
mate Jonathan sent this one. You know him as well, the lad at the BBC, right? He emailed this one in. So thanks for that. Chicken. It's called Mike.
There's a chicken called. Sorry, I missed a bit there. There's a chicken called Mike.
chicken called Mike.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What happened was, it was living on a farm, right? Loads of chickens knocking about, and the owner of the farm is like, you know, getting ready for tea, and his wife says, "Go out and get a fresh chicken, 'cause my mum's coming round." So he thinks, well, I want to get a good one in, 'cause I want to impress her. 'Cause back then, even then, they wanted to impress the mother-in-law and that. So they said, "All right, I'll just nip out and get one." So he sees Mike, chicken, running around.
Is this during the war or after the war?
1945. I'd say that was after.
No, ended, well...
It ended in 1945.
Yeah,
Okay.
September, go on.
So chicken's running about. He thinks that one, that looks all right. I'll have that one.
Mikey.
So he picks it up, and he cuts its head off.
Oh.
Puts it on the block, cuts its head off, runs about a bit, like they do. He thinks it'll stop in a minute. Keeps running about. Oh, what's going on here? Right? He's now like chasing the chicken without an head.
Yeah.
He's saying it should die in a minute. Anyway, doesn't die. Chicken's walking around with no head. Lives for 18 months.
Yeah.
Chicken with no head.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, I'll tell you, I've heard this story before, Rick, and the explanation, as I understand it, was that certain vital cords, spinal cords, weren't severed when the head came off, so that was why it continued to live.
Yep.
I don't know if that sounds plausible.
It's fine, absolutely fine. How did it take on, protein and energy?
The fella who owned it, he said, "Well, hang on a minute." He said, I could kill it now,"
But I've got a wonder chicken here.
but he's thinking, it must really want to live,
Sure.
right? If it survived that, they've sort of got something here.
Yeah.
So what he does, he gets a little eye droplet thing that he used to use on it. Obviously not anymore, right? And he filled it with grain and water, and it had a big hole in its neck where its head used to be. And he
Incredibly.
and he dropped.
You know what? I mean, that is possible then. If it, without
I have heard this,
infection,
Rick, to be fair.
without infection, if he was taking on things, it is possible, right? Why?
Why what?
Why did he do it? How cruel is that? I mean, it's not cruel because the chicken obviously, you know.
He said if he thought it was a bit fed up, he would have killed it. He said, but it was
Right.
running around quite happy.
Well, it wasn't fed up at all because it had no brain.
Well,
What do you mean? Wow.
I'm just saying what.
It was
I read.
nothing. It was just sinew and nerves and electrical impulses breaking down energies. Right. That's all it was. It didn't have a brain, so it was. But I'm worried about the psychology of keeping a pet without a head. I'm worried more about what the farmer was thinking than the
I
chicken.
tell you this, the question I'm asking is, was the mother-in-law impressed? I mean, that's why he set out. That's why he set out to chop Mike's head
This
off.
is lovely, but it's just the head where you don't kill a chicken like that all at once.
I thought we were having chicken for dinner. Come and look at this, running around the yard.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So there you go. You've learnt something there.
Yeah, I have learned something.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So one more.
That farmer, I've learnt that farmer was very strange indeed.
Yeah.
There you go.
I have to say, to be fair to Karl, I have a feeling like when I read it, the reason he kept it alive was as a novelty. He got charged people to come and see the incredible headless chicken called Mike.
Right.
So there we are.
There you
That's great.
go. So tune, Steve.
A tune, yeah. I just thought I'd like to hear a little bit more from that NERD album. We played some of this from there when it first came out many moons ago. Since then, it's gone on. It's won awards, all sorts. And obviously, NERD now, Nerd, as they're sometimes known, kind of big producers. They're producing Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, all kinds of people. But this is a track from their album.
I've heard
and
they're
it's called-
wicked.
They are indeed. And this is called Things Are Getting Better. NERD from their album In Search Of, and that's Things.
Suede's new one. Obsessions. On XFM 104.9. Well, I'm Ricky Gervais, obviously, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Well, Karl, that's about it, and we got sidetracked on the last Educating Ricky. You telling me about a man whose arm grew.
Well, something went wrong. I'm not saying it grew, just saying...
What? The rest of him shrunk?
It went long.
It went long. What, is that growing now? What do you mean it went long? Did it grow, or what, did it come loose?
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, so it was hanging by a thread which made it look long? Within the skin?
It's like how you can stretch a pair of tights if something is too heavy.
Arms are very much like tights. They are very much like tights.
The one that we didn't get round to on Educating Ricky was, I'll be no buying one of them.
Go on.
Are you familiar with the saying white elephant?
Something is a white elephant. Yeah, I don't think so.
Hold on. You phoned me last night and said, what does white elephant mean? And I told you.
Yeah, I know, but I know where it came from, but I just was wondering what it was about.
So how, in what way is Educating Ricky you calling me up and asking me something?
Well, do you know how it came about?
You've given away some of the secrets of the show there, it would appear. I didn't realise he was phoning you for information.
Well, he just asked me what the term white elephant meant in sort of like colloquial...
Did he say, why are you interested, Karl? No reason.
No, go on.
Well, what it is, ages ago when...
So what do we understand white elephant to mean?
Well, some of that's useless, that's like a bit of a, you know, something that you wouldn't want around that's just stood there doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Karl.
So years ago, when people used to use elephants...
Years ago, go on.
When people used to use elephants?
Yeah, more than they do now.
Right.
More than they do now!
This doesn't involve a midget, does it?
No. So, you know, they'd use them in the workplace and stuff.
Sure,
to
yeah,
as factories.
Sort of,
Yeah.
To move stuff around and that.
Yeah, security guards.
Yeah. Can't trust them with the buns, though. That's why they stopped using them.
Oh,
Right.
God, go on.
So there was loads of elephants knocking about, and the thing is, right,
You couldn't move from.
if you have a lot of something,
Uh-huh.
you also have a lot of demic ones, don't you?
A lot of what?
You know, sort of demicky ones that aren't right, really.
Demicky?
Well, you know, like, they weren't properly. They weren't...
They weren't properly.
They weren't
Sorry,
demicky or
Karl? What are you doing?
Right, I'm getting to the story. So what I'm telling you is...
They were a bit demicky, so they weren't
Basically
properly.
what-
Have you started making words up?
Right.
Yeah, and you Stanley Unwin.
Listen.
Reincarnated.
Demicky?
Yeah.
There was a lot of albino elephants knocking about.
Where? Where is this?
Olden times.
Africa.
Yes! Should we say Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If an answer's got a question mark at the end, I'm not
Well,
sure
it's
an
either
answer.
Africa or India, but I'll give you a clue. Well, these elephants, do they have big ears or little ears?
I didn't sort of notice the size of the elephants. What I noticed is they were white because they were albino elephants.
Okay.
Right? So that's why they're heading, I'll be no buying one of them.
Okay.
No, right.
So, what would happen is people who didn't know what they were doing, like, you know, you get people making a mistake buying cars that are full of problems and that. Back
Yeah.
then when people were buying elephants, they'd go up to someone, say, I'm after an elephant, and the fellow would say, yeah, I've got one here for you, this is a nice one. And it was all white and stuff, and it had, like, blue eyes.
You should never trust a used elephant salesman.
It was just this elephant that's white with blue eyes.
Right,
This is great.
So,
Yeah.
a fellow who didn't know what he was doing would buy the elephant, and he'd get it back, and it'd be all sort of lazy and stuff,
Oh,
and
the
what we're
worst
doing and
kind, yeah.
stuff. And he'd say, what's up with this? And his mate, who's a bit of an expert with elephants, and go, oh, where have you bought that from? And he'd say, oh, I got it off that fella, and he goes, oh...
All this embellishing nonsense he does with the story.
You shouldn't have bought that. So he goes, why? And he said, it's only albino, isn't it? And he's like, what does that mean? And he said, oh, it gets tired. It's not that good at doing work and that, you shouldn't
It
have bought
steals
it.
from you.
But elephants back then were like a god. You know what I mean?
Right.
You couldn't say, oh, I'm sick of this, then I'm going to abandon it or anything, because elephants were seen as, like, pretty high up on the chain of things. So they'd end up being stuck with an elephant, that's an albino,
Yeah.
couldn't do much, gets tired, basically gets in the way, so they said, that's where they're saying, like, you know, but a bit of a white elephant there.
What do you reckon, Rick?
I feel like I haven't been educated. I feel like I've lost something. So at that time in my life I can never get back. I feel like I've sort of been soiled, and I don't know where to start. I'm angry. Do you know what I mean? I'm angry.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
And all that rubbish around. Look at his little face.
Well-
What was that? All that shit about a second-hand elephant salesman and his mate knew about elephants. What is it? What are they had blue eyes. What are you?
Well, there you go.
Albinos have red eyes for a start.
Oh, that's it. We've run out of time.
Oh, what? I mean, what are you going to do about this next week? Are you going to actually do some educating next week? And what about Rockbusters? Are you going to make the clues proper cryptic clues?
Well, that's the teaser, isn't it? That's what we'll leave them with.
Will it be any good next week? Tune in and find out on XFM 104.9. Papa Garcia, Natalie and Nusi from the forthcoming album Bring Me the Head of Papa Garcia. Catchy that. Quite retro. It's a bit of Elton John and
All sorts thrown in,
yeah, lovely. Right, here we go. Quick clues again. And then we better do Educating Ricky.
Well, this is the favourite bit of the show for me now, Educating Ricky.
I love it.
I can't, well, yeah, I'm anxious all week.
Well, just quickly on those clues, just in case people need to know again. Stop throwing that fruit about, CB. That Scottish fella's made a bit of an error. M. And, God, you can make loads of toast with M. That's, G.
Alright, brilliant. Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. It's email only.
Oh, I need some learning. I need some knowledge, Carl. Educate me.
I might be able to help you.
Go on.
We've got 3 things, as always. I'll give them a little heading to tease you as to which one you want to learn first.
Yeah.
First one is the tip included?
Is the tip included?
Like it.
Second one, I want to come here in hindsight. Right.
I wouldn't have come here in hindsight?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the third one, am I gonna have to thump you?
Am I gonna have to thump you? Okay, and you've trawled, the internet?
So, so if I can get into the mindset of this plan, is the tip included? Well, obviously, that's probably not going to be about a waiter. It's going to be if that's someone losing the end of his knob, I assume. Am I going to have to thump you? That's a man who lost his arm in a fight, but then picked it up with the other arm and smacked him with it. What was the middle one?
I want to come here in hindsight.
Hindsight.
Heinz site?
Yeah, someone was blinded by baked beans.
Sure.
So what are you going for then?
I think I better go for, am I gonna have to thump you?
Right, well this isn't... I've been struggling again, to be honest with you. Searching high and low for stuff, and some of these I had to leave till this morning.
Right, because there's just not enough knowledge out in the world, is
Not
there,
much
that
is
you
going
don't
on.
know about?
I found out about something in the week about a guy who, was playing tug-of-war.
This is bonus material,
He was
isn't it?
playing tug-of-war.
Oh, his arm came off.
Only his arm come off.
Yeah, he got caught up in the rope, yeah.
No, he didn't. He didn't get caught up in the rope, he just was trying that hard and didn't want to lose. He kept
But
holding
he
it.
allowed his arm to be pulled off.
He really wanted to win. And
Well,
the other
no.
team, the other team pulled it and his arm come off.
No.
Well,
I don't know who to believe.
Well, think about it. If he's gripping,
yeah.
as soon as there's tension, like the arm coming out of the socket, the hand might release. I think his arm got caught up in the rope. And so it was involuntary, as opposed to him going, well, my arm's coming off, but I'm not going to lose this. You might be
Anyway,
right.
that's
but,
the fact
That's
you're
a
not gonna tell
bonus.
us.
That's a bonus fact.
Yeah, well,
That's educated me.
Well,
A man lost his arm. Oh, interesting. Go on.
am I gonna have to thump you?
Yeah.
Do you know the saying, shut your face?
Yeah, I've heard the well-known Shakespeare, innit?
Do you know how it came about?
No, Joe Dolce?
No,
Go on.
It's, ages ago.
Oh, yeah, literally, literally.
Like, knights who wore armour.
Okay.
And that's, armour gonna have to thump you, that's how it came about.
Okay, armour.
They wore all the stuff, and they had the helmet, and say if they're guarding something at night, stood outside a castle or something,
Yeah.
and there's probably gonna be 2 of them, right? So they stood there talking and that, and, talking about stuff, and
The future.
Sort of,
What-
yeah, medieval stuff.
one of them's like, oh, we should shut up, you know, I've been stood here for hours, and he's going on and on.
Yeah, sure.
So he'd say, shut your face. Meaning, shut the guard down on your helmet.
The visor.
And I can't hear you then.
Uh-huh.
So shut your face.
Shut your face.
And that's
Okay.
that's how it came about.
Well, I suppose that's...
It would be interesting if I could just rely on it as
I'm not sure it's true,
I
yeah.
know, I just never know. I can...
It needs to be corroborated.
It's like, I don't know where he got it from, but anything via Karl is precarious.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe you should give us your sources next time. You know, tell us where
I know,
you got
I'll
this
tell you.
information from.
Got it off the internet.
Yeah, but where on the internet?
I can't remember where that one was. I mean, I always go through like the news pages and stuff, and I came
This
across-
news should be updated because they've only reached the 17th century, which was last week with people eating tomatoes off lead
but then
plates.
I look at news and there was stuff about a woman who was in a shop and she, I don't know, they had some workmen in doing the shop up, and they had some wood glue left out and she asked for some pear juice, and then the guy went and thought the glue in the thing was the pear juice and she went and drank that, but that's not really news.
No.
So I thought, well, we're
It's
not
not really
having
anything.
that.
I wish you hadn't told us.
There was one about...
So there's some poor woman now whose tiles have fallen off because she tried to put them up with pear juice.
Yeah.
See, that's the danger of mixing up pear juice with toxic glue.
Yeah.
Your wallpaper and your tiles and everything just fall down.
There was
Be
also...
careful, everyone.
Be
Please.
careful.
There was something about, kids having hamburgers, it makes them fat.
Hamburger.
Hold on. What? Having food with high fat content can make you put on weight?
Yeah.
Don't believe it. You're an idiot. What's the
So-
next one?
let's play a tune,
No,
let's play a
well,
tune.
you've
We'll
still
come
got
back.
to come, you've still got I Want to Come Here in Hindsight, and you've still got Is a Tip Included, but we've got a bit of,
Well, I think we haven't played anything for a while, have we, in terms of the hip-hop hooray
No,
feature
no.
that I used to be so popular for. So I thought we'd just resurrect that for 1 week only.
Heat didn't pick up on that one,
They
did
did,
they?
they didn't, did they?
No.
Let me just remind you, Hip Hop Hooray was where I played a hip-hop track.
And then I said hooray, or...
Yeah, well, no, I think you
No, I
didn't
didn't-
even have that.
brilliant.
That's
Brilliant.
that's a great thing, though. We could add that in, we could phase that in. Maybe at the end of the song you can do
Hooray.
that. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Okay.
I'll check it.
Featuring Puff Daddy and Little Kim, that's Notorious B.I.G.
Brilliant.
and Notorious.
Great, lovely. Karl just, said to me, here's something. You can't hold your breath to death.
Have you tried it, Karl?
it's just another little lesson.
There's someone here who's in a really low ebb. They've been listening to a show, they were going to commit suicide.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just tried holding their breath and thinking, oh, screw it.
Well, what did you learn in the week, right? I'm always doing all the educating. I asked you were talking about watching a programme about jellyfish.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that'll be interesting. I'll try and find some stuff out, but I couldn't find anything that I didn't already know about them.
It must be difficult for you to find anything you don't already know.
So what did you learn about jellyfish?
I agreed with you by the end of it, that they should be wiped off the face of the earth because they're balls of water in membrane, right, that go around stinging people to death.
Yeah.
Let's lose them, Karl. Let's lose the jellyfish. Yeah?
That's what I think. Because I was stung by one. You know?
Oh, you got stung by one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was on holiday and got stung by one.
Yeah.
And I don't understand.
No,
don't
you're not,
understand them.
not a fan of them.
So that's that.
Good. Well, that's sorted out the jellyfish conundrum. We've solved that particular worry.
Right then.
Yeah.
So take your pick then.
I asked him if he could have any animal the other day. Did I ask him on air as well?
Don't know.
Off air, he said, I've got it down to 2. Right, and this was... He said, what favourite animal we're looking at, or could I own one? And I went, you could own one. And he went, right, but could I own one, or would I have trouble? I went, Karl, you've got all the expertise, you can just have it in whatever it needs, and you go down there. He went, right, and I won't regret it and get fed up. I said, no, Karl, just what animal, if you could have any animal, what animal would you love? He went, I've got it down to 2. I went, what is it? He said, either the rhino or the hippo.
What's your logic?
Well, I don't know. That was then. I mean, ask me tomorrow, and I might
be
have
very
2 other
different.
favourites. Do you know what I mean? When was that?
A couple of weeks ago. When was that? Well, you were there.
Yeah, but you know,
What are they today? Quickly now. First animal that comes into your
quickly
head.
now. Any animal I want.
You could have any animal in the world.
Right.
From one that's maybe extinct, anything you want.
Right. I might have. I might just for today.
Just for today.
I might have a scorpion in a little box.
A little scorpion in a box. What's your thinking?
It's the chimp every time. It's the chimpanzee or the gorilla.
No, but have I told you that program about the scorpion? How they all help each other out.
Right.
Have I told
Scorpions
you?
all help each other out.
No. This is brilliant. Right. Somewhere in the desert.
Okay.
There's these little.
Into the desert.
It's like these little monkeys that are underground or something. And there's holes.
Is this beneath the Planet of the Apes? The fourth in the series,
Are
I
they
think, or the
talking
second.
Oh,
apes?
forget it, actually.
No, and you've got it wrong anyway. They're not monkeys.
There's little monkeys under the goat. What are they doing down there?
They're
Toiling in some
lizards.
underground mines?
They're lizards, if you remember, and the lizard goes to sleep, and the bloke comes along. You've told this, and the
Oh, we've done it, alright.
monkey from monkey. That's what happens in his mind. From lizard to monkey. Oh, evolution would have been so much easier if Karl was around. Turn it into a monkey. I'm fed up with a lizard.
Just promise me once again, Karl, I've asked you before, promise me you'll never have children.
Go on, right, okay.
Right, what are you having?
Right, what are they again?
Is the tip included?
Yeah, go on, that one.
Right. In Turkey,
Nice.
it's not, actually. That's where I went, and there was them little fellas after Suzanne in the kitchen.
What? What do you mean?
We went to Turkey.
You went to
And,
Turkey and there
yeah.
were some little fellas.
Well, they had quite a few sort of midgets working in the kitchen.
Why? Is it a theme?
No,
Was it a
it's
theme
just-
holiday?
I don't know. Might get them cheaper or something.
Was it?
So they
You
were
get them
working.
cheaper?
They were working in the kitchen, and one of them fancied Suzanne and kept sort of eyeing her up, and she was winding me up saying, "Oh,
Not eyeing up and down, just eyeing her up.
Yeah.
I fancy her." Anyway, no. So
What
anyway,
was she doing in the kitchen?
no, it's like a pick what you want to eat type buffet, but you have people clearing the tables and that ready for you to come along,
Are they low tables?
and you know he was just keeping an eye on her.
What did he say though? Was
How did he make this
he a
clear?
It
little?
was Turkish, so I don't know what he was saying.
But he was he was
Little fella, yeah,
Did he talk
What do you
to her?
mean a little fella? What do you mean little fella?
sort of dwarf-like.
What do you mean dwarf like? He had magic powers or he was 4 foot?
No,
What do you
just
mean, Karl?
A little bloke, just like a normal bloke but small. If you stood him in the desert, you wouldn't know.
But he'd be hot
nothing
and
around
thirsty.
him.
Right, Karl.
You should watch out for the monkeys.
Yeah, underground.
Those underground
What-
monkeys are
look,
dangerous.
you can't just say there was a little midget fella who was eyeing up my girlfriend and then leave it. What do you mean? What was happening? This is a story to us. This is much more interesting to us than and she was deaf, right? And she hit her head. That's much more
I don't
interesting.
understand how this how it manifested itself. Did he come over and say something?
No, do you know when it's like girls know, don't they? When someone fancies them.
What do you mean there was lots of them as well?
Do
then?
they? That's worth knowing.
Listen, right, come on, right. So you went into this holiday, yeah?
Yeah,
And
wasn't
you
that
went
good.
into the dining room or something?
Yeah, downstairs.
And
in
you
the
looked
dining
over-
You thought, this is odd, there's no one serving.
Yeah, and they go,
Wait a
oh,
minute.
hold on, you looked down and there was a little waiter.
room. There was loads of them running around busy.
Why, though? Why did
Because
they
it
get
was
those...
summer.
What do you mean?
Because it
There
was
was
in
loads of them.
summer.
They had more of
They
them on.
come out in summer. They come out in summer.
What do you mean they had more... What do you
Because
mean?
it's busy, isn't it?
Well, no, but they
So-
hibernate in the
Why
winter.
were they all midgets?
I don't know, maybe it doesn't heat stunt your growth or something.
No!
Well, they just happened to, maybe it was a thing that they did for tourists or something, I don't know. I just got on with my meal, it was a holiday, do you know what I mean?
God!
Right,
So some midget serving, I'm not going to ask any questions.
Right, okay, yeah.
So they're all little fellas running around, and this one always was like, you know, oh, do you want a new serviette? You know what I mean? Going out of his way to sort of...
for turning on the
yeah,
charm.
Yeah, he was going
Oh.
out of his way, the others weren't.
Right. I think what was happening is he'd been working with Santa all sort of winter.
Yeah.
It's a
Or
sort of little summer break.
This one
He
was
hadn't
your
seen a girl.
waiter, and so he was being polite to you.
Maybe.
But what did Suzanne say then?
Well, she was using it to wind me up.
What was she saying? Oh, he's...
Oh, just like, you know, look,
He may be small, but he's
well,
built like a...
Yeah, he's all man.
so...
Were you jealous of a midget then? You were jealous of him?
It is a bit annoying, isn't it?
Why?
It wouldn't bother me as much now, because I've been with her for ages.
Right.
But at the time, that might have been one of our first holidays, and it's like,
You don't
know,
want to be
what's going
stolen
on? I
away
paid
by
for this
a-
holiday.
Yeah.
And then you get off with a midget?
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway,
But it doesn't matter because you got chatted up by a bearded lady. So.
yeah.
tell you what, no, that's got nothing to do with that.
What were you going to say? What were you going to
I
say?
was going to say the hotel was half board, and maybe...
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say it's just one of her shortcomings.
So listen, right?
Play a record, Karl.
Right. Badly drawn boy, born again. Right, just get this educating Ricky out of the way. So, Turkey, yeah. So what is this again?
This is educating Ricky as a tip included.
Right.
Apparently a fella was on holiday in Turkey. He's just having a normal holiday, weather's good, you know, he's having a good time. And that
Waiters are all normal height.
Yeah. He's having his meal. He hears a load of screaming going on in the kitchen.
Hold on.
Has his girlfriend wandered in there?
And they do,
With a stepladder.
Yeah.
the circumcised people in the kitchen, and apparently...
What are you talking about?
Whoa, slow down. We were
Sorry,
sidetracked there for a minute.
what are you talking about? Well, I'm excited about two things at once here. One, they circumcised people in the kitchen. Two, I guessed it was someone losing the end of their knob.
You did, yeah.
I started thinking like Karl Pilkington.
Extraordinary.
That is amazing.
Apparently it was going on. It wasn't just a one-off either. Well, when I say a one-off, I mean they did it more than once.
Yes.
Right? And there was, it was there for a week, and apparently the first night it was quiet, and then the rest of the week, every day, it'd be like having his breakfast, or even his lunch, or even his tea.
Yeah.
Right? He'd be doing it all day.
Oh.
You'd be hearing
Lunch and
screams.
breakfast, fair enough, Rick.
Yeah,
Circumcision
but
at tea time.
Don't do that.
And apparently it's a tradition over there. You can't even make a complaint about it. It's like, well, you should have, found out before you come over
See,
here.
I can't believe this is
Sorry,
true.
I'm a little
I
bit
can't
lost.
believe this is
He was
true.
in a restaurant, in a hotel, and there were people having circumcisions in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I'm even worried that we're bordering on the racist here, suggesting that is tradition, that Turkish people cut the end of their cocks off in the kitchen
Yeah.
at meal times. I think you're wrong, Karl.
This just sounds ludicrous, Karl.
No, I don't think it happens everywhere.
Right.
I think this
Just in
Oh,
this
this in this hotel.
certain places,
certain hotels.
certain hotels.
What,
it's-
is it like 2-star?
Yeah.
I don't- that-
Why did he go to the Foreskin Inn? It was his own fault, wasn't it?
so that's
Sorry, that's it, is it?
Have they closed?
Sorry, no, wait. That's the story. You educated me, right? Once a fella saw some Turkish people cutting the tip of their knob off in the kitchen. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Karl. Got any more?
Well, there's things you can learn from it. Either don't go to Turkey,
No!
don't have calamari when you're over there.
Yeah.
Oh, Karl, you've done it again.
Well,
You too. I love that one. On XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl. Okay, Karl, one more.
can't we just...
Don't get the just because so far you've come up with nothing. What's the last one?
Give us the teaser clue
It
again.
was, I want to come here in hindsight.
I wouldn't have come here in hindsight.
Yeah.
Right,
what
give me
you're
some education. This will be the thing that teaches me something. I can feel it in my bones. Come on.
There's a kid in Kenya. He was messing about with some beans.
Magic.
We guessed that as well.
You did, yeah.
He's fed up because we've guessed his puns, I think.
He put one of them in his ear.
Yeah.
The mum or the dad said, oh, what have you done that for, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll have to take you to the doctors now. So they took the kid to the doctors, and the doctor said, oh, he said, I can get that out, I can sort that out for you. So, he took it out, and the doctor said, right, that's £3.50. And the dad said, I've only got £2.70 on me. And the doctor said, right, well, and he put the bean back in his kid's ear.
I don't know what to say. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean,
Couple of questions from me, very quickly. Are you sure that those were definitely the sums involved, were they?
Well, the equivalent of whatever they deal with in Kenya.
Yeah.
It was the equivalent of,
Of
you know...
£3.50.
so what currency was it, Karl, that you translated into sterling?
I don't know. No, it was saying in the thing. It said the equivalent of.
£3.15, £2.70.
Did it say that?
Yeah. So
Did it say that?
Yeah.
Karl, look at me. Look at me. Did it say that?
Yeah. It said that was the.
Did it say that?
Yeah. Yeah, it did. It definitely said that. Definitely.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I suppose. I don't know. I mean, all these things. The idea is, it's not like a lesson. It's like, I'll tell you this. See what you can get from it.
Sure.
So you look at what I've told you already. The knights who said shut your face. That's
Yeah,
like
that's amazing.
that explains itself.
Yeah.
Turkey with the circumcisions in a restaurant.
Yeah.
know.
That'll hold me in good stead, yeah, go on.
Don't go there, whatever. This one, if you're in Kenya, don't put beans in your ears or something. Doctors
Or
are.
carry £3.50 or the equivalent
I mean-
of.
It's just the idea that the doctor put it back in his ear. He forced it back in his ear. So is it still there to this day? I mean, is there any update on that story?
Or did he go back with the £3.50?
I presume he either went and got like a second opinion, see if he could get it cheaper,
Right.
from another doctor,
Yeah.
or he said, right, I'll come back next week
Yeah.
after I've been paid. Or he saw how the doctor did it and thought, well, I'll have a go at that till I get home.
Yeah, for free.
But he never said how it ended.
No, no.
But, I mean, I apologise for this week, 'cause, I mean, I haven't got that much out of it.
You've not been enriched.
It was very, very light. Like I say, there was the tug-of-war, there was a fella in Scotland who had a load of tattoos.
Okay.
Is that it?
Is that the end of the story?
98% covered.
Right.
Just between his toes, he didn't have done.
Why not?
Because it looked stupid. I don't know. It just said 98% done. What else?
Are you gonna drop the feature? Are you worried?
I'm thinking about it.
Don't drop the feature.
To be honest with you.
Heat have probably written about this already. This has been a classic.
I'm concerned because it's my favourite part of the show. I'm wondering, is there something else we could? What could we do to help you out? Because I hate to see it go.
Well, we can't really, and he's moving this week with the old fella, so that'll take him about 4 days. I'm worried you're not looking in the right. Why don't you go to a library?
Quick question for you, Carl. Who is a possible guest on next week's Pilkington?
What are you
anyone
gonna
lined
investigate?
up? I mean, what about your removals man?
Right, listen, if you've had an experience, it can be anything, right? It doesn't have to be you've seen a ghost, it can be that you think you're gonna live forever, or you can, do any mentalist out there. If you're slightly, wrong, if there's something wrong with you, just, email Karl. Is it karl.pilkington@xfm.co.uk? karl.pilkington@xfm.co.uk.
Would you like to be interviewed on next week's edition of Pilkington?
If you are a mental of any description, just lonely, bewildered, stupid, just something wrong with you, right, and you've seen something that's, interesting to you but absolute bollocks, then please call Karl.
Yeah. Karl.Pilkington.
Don't let that put you off, by the way. Don't think, oh, they're going to take the piss out of me. Just if, in any way, if it's, fodder for us, then call up, because Karl will like you. You'll be friends with Karl, won't you? Quick, the clues. What's the answers? We always do this. We're running out of time.
Don't worry, we've got a tune, and then we'll come back with the answers for Rockbusters. A lot of great prizes.
Alright, then. We'll have a bit of cash.
Johnny Cash, one of the prizes we're giving away.
Oasis, Live Forever on XFM 104.9. Right. We're in the swing of things. It's mine and Steve's favourite bit of the whole show. This is what we do this show for now. Educating Ricky.
Yeah.
Go for it, Karl.
You said that learning can't be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay, I'll go for the one... What's the one about the butcher going down the butcher shop?
You've got, get your kit on, we're off down the butcher's.
Yeah.
You going for that one?
Yeah.
Well, do you know the saying, don't let the cat out of the bag?
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
Yeah, don't give away a secret.
Right. Well, do you know how it came about?
No.
Well, ages ago. Before, like...
Ages ago. 17th century?
Yeah, before, like...
Yeah, 17's good. Yeah.
Before, like, proper butchers and Dewhursts and supermarkets and that, you used to get these blokes who sold meat. Right.
Butchers, they were called then, I think.
Yeah, but the difference was they didn't stay in the same place, they moved about. Right, so they'd turn up on a street corner, and he'd have, like, loads of carrier bags of, like...
Carrier bags?
Yeah, with meat in and that, and people would
Plastic
be
carrier bags?
Yeah, with
whatever.
mobile butcher on them.
Yeah.
Right, so,
And an email address.
Yeah, go on.
people went, right, yeah, I need some meat, right, so they'd go up to this bloke and say, what have you got? And he'd say, well, I've got a, you can have a bag full of pig, or you can have, whatever, a bag full of chicken, whatever.
Yeah.
And they'd go, yeah, how much? They go, call it a fiver, whatever.
Yeah.
And, they'd buy them, and to make more money, they didn't always fill the bag with what they said was in it.
Oh, and yeah, I thought that might be the case.
Right?
Yeah.
So what
Did
they
they
used
ever
to
put
do...
cats in there?
Yeah.
But I don't see what...
Okay, so sometimes they would put a cat in the bag
They'd put a
and
cat
pretend
in
it
the
was
bag.
chicken or whatever else.
Yeah, so
But why was a cat any cheaper than a chicken?
Because cats are wandering around the streets, aren't they? Chickens aren't. So they'd get a chicken, they'd put a chicken on the top so that when they look in it, they'd go, yeah, that's alright. Got a bag full of chicken. They'd get home to make the dinner.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, what are we having tonight? And they'd go, well, you'll never guess. And they'd have like, well, you can have a chicken leg. And,
But it wouldn't be a cat. They'd have to defrost a pizza.
Yeah.
Did they mind that they were eating cat then? In those days?
He didn't say. He just was saying about the saying, don't let the cat out of the bag. It's like, you know, if they see that, they're gonna go mad.
I'm mildly disappointed with this story. It's alright if it's true, but yeah, there's something about it, it's just... I want to know more. He always leaves it... Is it Karl doesn't quench your thirst for knowledge, he creates more. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, yeah, he's like the pot noodle of information.
Yeah, do you know, he never... I want to go...
I'm not nourished by it.
It's like if for every fact he tells me, there's 10 others that spring up that I have to get clear.
Well, so it was the people that were doing this, it was the dodgy butchers that coined this phrase. Were they saying to each other, don't let the cat out the bag? I.e., what I mean by that, Jack, is don't let them see the cat.
Yeah.
What we've stuffed in there.
Yeah.
Dodgy butcher, that's another phrase, isn't it?
So that's the first one.
Is that a euphemism or is that dodgy butcher?
As his meat delivered round the back.
Sure.
So that's that one. So let's get your kit on.
What does that mean?
It's a euphemism for homosexuality.
Okay. And meat, presumably, in that means different things.
It doesn't. It's a word that is also a male
Would
bird.
it mean chicken or cat necessarily in that context? Or well, I suppose it could.
Yeah. Karl's look at him. Karl looks at you like a cat.
Yeah.
Whenever we leave him behind, if we don't talk like straight at him and let him see our lips moving, and it's, you know, monosyllabic and very slow. Look, he's lost in that conversation there. He just drifted off, didn't you, Karl?
No, I just was also thinking on animals and that. Something else I was going to use.
Go on.
Was
This isn't a radio show, is it? I just suddenly caught myself. This is nothing.
I told you that before. It's been bad today.
No, but I mean, it's the way, this casual way that it's like we almost have no regard for our listener. And I'm not proud of that. I just don't know what to do about it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to do this properly. I mean, we're just chatting here. I mean, it's only Anderson who's seen through us. And that surprises me, that more people haven't... I mean, what are the figures like? Do people listen to this show?
I'll find out for you.
You keep saying that.
But, yeah, there's this parrot. And, apparently it lives
I mean, Rick, it's unique, if nothing else. I mean, when you wake up with Woken tomorrow, you're not even going to hear him start a line with there was this parrot.
Go on, there was this parrot, yeah, go on.
And it can talk and that. Someone's obviously, you know, taught it how to speak and that. And, it flew away. And it's living in this church. Right? And, people are at the church doing hymns and that. And then
Trouble's brewing.
in between the hymns.
That parrot was owned by an old miner who used to swear a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
Then the vicar is going to be really annoyed. That vicar.
Yeah.
That vicar's gonna go on.
I just hope it stays quiet, Rick, during the vicar's sermons.
Yeah, go on.
have you read it?
No, go on. You read it.
No,
go on,
no,
go on.
because that's what happens, right?
Go on, tell us, Karl.
During the hymns, it's sort of effing and jeffing and stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone's like going, oh, you know, it's quite funny, really, you know, it doesn't know what it's doing. Everyone's having a laugh.
Yeah.
But it's causing a havoc at funerals.
When did this happen?
Not years ago.
John was a much-loved man. He was a wanker!
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that was another
What
story.
can you say about Uncle John?
Bollocks.
Oh, Karl, I love the fact that when you look at things, you go, that's interesting. A parrot that swears at funerals.
That would be a nice.
And it stays with you. You see, for a simple man, you retain an awful lot of knowledge. It's just all rubbish.